Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy, healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes? If you're just joining us, Rudy Giuliani is sweating his face off, explaining to us why Trump really won the election.
Inspectors. Every state. Almost every approved this. It's thrown away. Gone for eternity.
Is this a skit?
The only thing left is to have been a dead person. That could have been not filled out properly.
Wait, he's saying there was a dead person in the envelope? Rudy's about to have actual drops of sweat coming off of his brow. I mean, is this a normal amount? I don't know how hot it is in the room, but something seems very wrong here.
All be in the lawsuit that comes out tomorrow.
Rudy's melting.
Arizona is a state that we're looking at very, very carefully.
Strongly looking at it.
I would say we're probably, I assume,
God.
if she's working for the... I'd like to read them all to you, but I don't have the time. You should have had the time and energy to go look for them. That's your job. Like it's my job to defend the president and to represent the president. It's Maine, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada.
Is he bleeding? Did you see? Is he bleeding from his ear? What on earth was that?
Votes needed to
It's on both sides.
to find out if I'm
Is that hair dye?
Is to look at the lawsuits. In order to do it,
It looks like blood.
But in the materials,
Oh my God, it's everywhere.
10,000 at least, and we're getting more.
He's got to get off the stage.
And there are other aspects of this fraud. On the morning of November 3rd,
Someone's got to get him a napkin.
they were going to count this new kind of ballot.
I've never seen anything like this. What on earth? It's getting onto his shirt
in
now.
Michigan and in Wisconsin, any jury would accept if they heard this evidence that somebody had this plan.
This is insane.
Maybe that was always the plan.
It looks like sap from an oak tree or a maple tree. It looks like someone's making syrup.
To Sydney describe that to you.
Oh my God, it's all over his face. He's going to need a towel.
Dealing with
Actual evidence of
I don't know, guys. It's sounding like Trump won, isn't it, based on this? Oh, man, that is really a classic. Welcome, everybody. We are almost 24 hours into the deliberations by the jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. MSNBC has been kicked out of the court by the judge. We're going to talk about that. Unrest seems to... So 2 days ago, there was some unrest in Kenosha. And then yesterday, it was pretty calm. Today, things are getting a little wacky in Kenosha, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. We also are monitoring the increasingly compelling trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Let's listen just to a little bit. There's actually a big fight going on right now outside the presence of the jury.
The defendant is seeking. That was a broad brush, Mr. Goff.
It was.
So I guess we are noting it for the record.
We are noting the severance issue for the record, and to be more specific, if the defense, I don't know what they're doing, But if the defense is going to call Diego Perez, who I had thought the state was calling, but they decided not to call. I had thought the defense was calling. Maybe they're not calling. But if they're going to put him up and the state's going to backdoor in vigilante issues involving the co-defendants or after-the-fact conspiracies, before the state does that on cross-examination, I think we need to take that up outside the presence of the jury.
Well, the court will take that matter, take the matter under advisement. Duly noted. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute recess.
All right, so they're going to be on recess for the time being. Okay, so first of all, the mustache is gone, my friends. The mustache is gone. I wasn't kidding around when I said if we don't get 50 members, it's going to go. People thought, oh, sir, it's just a thing. No. It was very, very real. And the mustache is gone. I have duly noted it, and I will be taking it under advisement. Okay, I don't even know where to start. I guess I want to just flag something for you guys. You know, a lot of times people come to me and they say, sir, who's your favorite guest that you've ever interviewed? And they expect me to say some well-known politician or whatever the case may be. And it rarely is. Now, with 1,500 interviews under our belt, there's not one favorite interview. Today's interview on my podcast is one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done. I interviewed theoretical physicist Jeffrey West, who is 80 years old now. He is a very nice British guy, and he wrote the book Scale, one of my favorite nonfiction books that I've ever read. The interview is fantastic. It's on today's podcast. We're going to have an extended version video up on YouTube's, I don't know when. I'd have to talk to producer Pat. I don't know when it's probably tomorrow or who the hell knows, sometime soon. But absolutely one of my favorite interviews. So that's what it is. Okay. I see people in the chat asking about Twitch subs 0. We are banned from Twitch. We are now, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are 10 days into a 30-day ban. I've appealed the ban. They've not even adjudicated the ban. That's why it says Twitch sub 0. We had 1,000 paid subscribers on Twitch, and we lost them. Okay. Let's start with, okay. We're keeping the coupon code Uncharged Pickles.
Uncharged Pickles?
Until we have a verdict in the Rittenhouse trial. I'm thinking, as I've said before, we may shift over to the trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery when the Rittenhouse trial is done. I'm thinking then we might switch to the coupon code Colonel Sanders, and it's a reference to this moment in the Arbery case.
If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be correct.
So anyway, I'm thinking that the next coupon code may be Colonel Sanders related. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of the flavor of what's happening today in Kenosha. Here is I guess it's a protester. It's never really clear what they're protesting. This is a guy with a hoodie, very suspicious. We learned in the George Zimmerman trial, hoodies are very, very suspicious, and this guy's wearing one. He has a sign which says Black Crime Matters. And here this is so good. Tara Lemieux says, outside the Kenosha courthouse now, a protester wants the world to know his views on the Rittenhouse trial through a poorly penned, nonsensical sign and repeated use of the N-word to mask his own ignorance. Okay, so this is just one scene outside the courthouse.
Why? Because Richard Pryor has an album called That Nigger's Crazy. Mike Tyson says the N-word. He says nigger. Dave Chappelle says nigger.
He's black.
Okay, why is it that
black.
depending on your race you can say the word nigger?
Because
People were out here 2 weeks ago and they were saying if a white person says the word nigger, it's a weapon. So if you hear the word nigger and somebody's around the corner, you have to look and see who the person was that said it to find out if it was a weapon, to find out if you're hurt. Come on.
Oh my God, a regular Bertrand Russell. I need to hear this guy's philosophical views.
Bill Cosby said, Why don't black people quit smacking their kids, quit saying motherfucker, and quit calling each other nigger?
Are you from here, sir? Are you a resident?
I'm from Racine.
You're from down here.
Well, because I like to see the process of how court works.
What exactly is he seeing standing outside with a sign, by the way? You could see more on my stream than just being there.
Everybody to know how the process works. The process of court works like this. There's a judge, there's a jury, there's evidence, there's witnesses, and there's cross-examination. More than that, what do you want? This is the reason that aliens won't talk to us.
Oh, boy. Now we're off the rails, huh? Like before it wasn't. Now we're off the rails.
Because of these people right here. The aliens hide behind clouds and say, look how deranged these people are.
So, this is, I guess it's just mental illness. I thought maybe it was something else, but I guess it's just mental illness. Okay, here's another perspective of what's going on in Kenosha. This one is Commander Hulk of the Royal Black Panther Party of Chicago. He weighed in on the trial.
We got to stand in solidarity with the families and let the families know they're not alone and they get justice. We want to see them found guilty on every charge, nothing less, you know. It's some wounded souls running around. We can't allow people to go around playing vigilante and just killing people, you know. That's not right, and we're going to make a difference. We're going to stand up and we're going to start right here and make a change with this.
What do you think is going to be the outcome of the...
Hope for the best, expect the worst. We know the deck is stacked with 13 jokers. That's just how it goes. We know the defense, the state's attorney, and the judge. We know all of them play golf together. That's how it is. But we just hoping for the best, you know. Without faith, there's no hope. We gotta
Very windy.
But I have been keeping an eye on everything. And I found it is terrible. It's a horrible tragedy that happens, and it needs to stop right here.
Have you heard a lot of discourse in other areas like Chicago and kind of around the country about this?
We represent Chicago. The best of humanity. You know, we gotta love. We gotta stop the hate.
All right, so there's another perspective, just to giving everybody different perspectives. That's Commander Hulk of the Royal Black Panther Party of Chicago, and then the other. Oh, hold on, I just want to monitor what's happening. We're sort of getting to a critical moment. Oh, let me mention a little bit about this. So as you can see here, the counter is at 22:04. The jury is now in its 23rd hour of deliberations. It is also 2:51 p.m. Kenosha time. I spoke to the same defense attorneys I've been speaking to this morning, and they told me about this thing that will sometimes happen where if the jury feels as though it's close and it starts to get to 3, 4 o'clock, sometimes they go until 5, sometimes they go until 6 local time, sometimes they'll request to just go until 9, 10. That's why you sometimes see these verdicts much later. Sometimes if they feel like they're close or they figured out some charges, anything can kind of happen in these last 90 minutes because they might say, we probably need to come back tomorrow, but maybe we can just real quick finalize the last one. And that can sometimes mean guilty. Sometimes it can be not guilty. You sometimes have almost like, which is horrible that it goes this way, but sometimes you'll have negotiations where if they've agreed on guilty on one charge and they're just arguing about something else, they want to end today. You might sometimes see these sort of like jockeying that takes place. It's not good. It's not a good thing. But the last 90 minutes when you're 3 days in, sometimes attorneys I spoke to start to get a little bit, what is going to happen here? Because do they really want to come back another day tomorrow? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But we are into hour 23. This is the killing of Ahmaud Arbery case. But they have the verdict watch counter. And then we also are monitoring, this is the Law and Crime Network. PBS has also been covering it. Now, people are asking me, David, what's this about MSNBC getting kicked out? I'm going to play the video for you. What this is about is it became known that someone known to be a producer for MSNBC reportedly ran a red light yesterday following the jury bus, believed to be to try to identify jurors. Okay, here we go.
A person who identified himself as James G. Morrison and who claimed that he was a producer with NBC News, employed for MSNBC and under the supervision of a person. What's going on? Oh, okay. Under the supervision of someone named Irene Bayan in New York for MSNBC. The police, when they stopped him because he was following at a distance of about a block and went through a red light, pulled him over and inquired of him what was going on, and he gave that information and stated that he had been instructed by Ms. Bayan in New York to follow the jury bus. The matter is under further investigation at this point. And the media has asked questions about it. That's the latest I have. And he was ticketed for violating a traffic control signal. He's not here today from what I'm told. And I have instructed that no one from MSNBC News will be permitted in this building for the duration of this trial. This is a very serious matter, and I don't know what the ultimate truth of it is, but absolutely it would go without much thinking that someone who is following the jury bus, that is it's extremely serious matter, and will be.
All right. So MSNBC has been kicked out of the room. That's what's going on there. I did want to see if there were any other Kenosha videos that were relevant to our interests. Okay, so here's another. A lot of people bringing weapons. Can I say something? You guys remember how evidence kept being presented, exhibits from BG on the scene? I never made the connection. BG on the scene, who filmed a lot of the core exhibits in the trial, is Brendan Gutenschwager, who follows me and who I follow, and we've known about his work I don't know BG on the scene. What's that? It's Brendan Gutenschwager. So anyway, he continues to be in Kenosha. Here's another guy. Now you might say, wait, David, was this the guy yesterday? Who was carrying a gun too close at the courthouse? No, this is a different person. So this is another guy being taken out.
Back. Get that back. How many times? Step
Total
back.
chaos.
Go back. Sidewalk, guys. Go to the sidewalk. Just take a step back for me. Step back.
And then he goes to the paddy wagon. That's an old school paddy wagon, huh?
Oh shit, you knocking me over.
Very, very powerful images. And again, what this goes to for me is the continued fear that regardless of the verdict, and honestly, almost in particular, if there's a mixed verdict where it's some guilty, some not guilty, and everyone ends up pissed off, I'm worried that there's going to be, there's going to be chaos. But they got this guy. So the city of Kenosha police taking this male into custody and very powerfully checking him for a variety of weapons. And let's see, ultimately, I guess they put him in the back. I don't even know. Oh, they just walk away. Oh, okay. They don't even put him in the paddy wagon. Yep. So there's that. That's going on there. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We are on day 3 of jury deliberations. I want to say thank you to Michael Gonser, Ann Darcy, and Nathan Mercer, who just signed up on my website, and our new members 1, 2, and 3 today. The coupon code, Uncharged Pickles, will be valid through the verdict. Please sign up on my website, joinpacman.com. Yesterday, you fine people killed my mustache because we did not get to 50 members, and I gleefully shaved it off, power shaved, yesterday, and it is gone. But maybe we will go right back with a reverse mustache. I shave only the mustache, sort of a kind of backcountry look or something else, something we can certainly consider. You can also make pledges on Patreon. They count double. Those will count as 2, which is very, very exciting. Okay. Oh, is Paddy Wagon an anti-Irish? I had no idea. I've never heard that before. I had no idea. Paddy Wagon offensive? Oh, no, it was found not offensive. Irish Central reports it is not offensive. All right, well, anyway, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't even know what is that? Is it like St. Paddy's Day? I don't even know. I know nothing about Irish anything. I know nothing about it. I love the Irish. Oh, we just got banned in Ireland. Oh my God. Canceled. Okay. Let me say, I'm going to get to super chats. I want to say one other thing. I've been pre-promoting that today I would be interviewing Andrew Yang. The interview just took place. It was great to catch up with Andrew. I want to tease something from the interview. I asked Andrew Yang's new thing with his forward party is ranked choice voting, fix campaign finance to grow third parties. Fine. I asked Andrew Yang, do you welcome the support of white supremacists as long as they support ranked choice voting and campaign finance reform? He paused and he thought for a while about the answer, and then he answered it. Okay? Very interesting moment in my new interview with Andrew Yang. It's going to be published next week. Very interesting and compelling interview. I'm seeing an audio looping on your Facebook live stream. I don't know that I can do anything about that. I see 700 people watching on Facebook. I could turn off and back on the stream, but oftentimes, like 99% of the time when people report technical issues to me, it's just, you got to refresh. So we'll see about that. Okay. All right. JD Straight Shot says, have Hawk. Can someone please send David the ray gun sound? David, Destiny went on a rant about you yesterday. Deer season opens Saturday. Can we get Tucker Carlson on obstruction of justice? David, any plans to discuss the trial further with Destiny? Yeah, here's the thing. I'm glad to talk to Destiny anytime. I did see, let me see if I can find it. I saw that he tweeted a very, very ugly attack on me. Here it is. This is Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II. It's insane that he has this take and he's been watching the whole trial. What levels of copium are people on? Holy fuck. And I reported GTFO. Now, this was a joke. Honestly, I don't care what Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II thinks about my opinions of the trial. I don't know if he's been watching the whole trial or he's been watching clips or people are sending him weird stuff. Someone wrote to me and said, David, this is the problem with the Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II community, where if you have like a 5% disagreement, and I don't know what level of disagreement we even have, they turn on you and it's all crazy. A couple people wrote to me and said, David, Stephen is clearly autistic, like in the sense that this is not a normal way to relate to someone that you're friends with or whatever. And I don't know anything about that. If that's the case, then, for me, it's all kind of just like whatever. And I'm going to be in LA in a couple weeks. If Destiny still lives there, I'd be glad to go and get brunch again. And he can get 4 side orders of different pork products like he did last time. For me, I am not having any conversations in the real world, so to speak, about Kyle Rittenhouse. So for me, it's like, even if we have a 30% disagreement, a 50% disagreement, I don't care. I'm not talking about the Rittenhouse trial in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't bother me. So if Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II actually is pissed at me now, okay. If he's not, if it's whatever, if it's a result of autism, I just don't care. It's just like, whatever. If he wants to chat with me, I'll talk to him. If he doesn't, I won't. If his audience likes me, great. If they don't, too bad. I'm just doing my thing and everybody kind of has their opinion. The only thing that would bother me, and again, if autism is a factor, you wouldn't be able to read these cues. I don't want bad faith attributed to me. because I've been perfectly transparent. Nothing I'm doing, I saw somewhere on the DGG subreddit, someone said, it's clear Pacman doesn't even believe the things he's saying now. That's a bit much. One of the things I do on this program is I just tell you what I think, and you might disagree. It's not like some crafted. Oh, hold on. I got to ban a couple people here. One. Oh, I guess just one. Okay. And, I know that, I could play up the drama and that way it would get clicks. I'm so bored by the drama. It's just boring. Steven wants to chat. Great. Personal attacks. I'm not interested. Attacks of bad faith in particular, I wouldn't tolerate. But it sounds like we both think not guilty on the big charges. I think if there's a case for guilty, it would be on Rosenbaum and it might be a lesser included. Am I a terrible person for thinking that? I mean, come on, guys, give me a break. Let's be adults. Okay. What else am I missing here? Oh, thank you to Dez, who just made a Patreon pledge. Those count double, and that puts us at 5. Also, thanks to Kaylee Payton. Kaylee Payton just signed up on my website with the coupon code
Uncharged Piccolos.
And his new member number 6 today. Thank you, Kaylee. I really, really very much appreciate that. Okay, other super chats. Sign guy, is everything wrong with America? Agree. I'm offended. We've been here all along. Okay. Just want everyone to notice YouTube has started to remove dislikes. No one can see dislikes. Yeah, they told us weeks ago or maybe even months ago they were going to do that. On behalf of aliens, I'm offended. Lawyers at Rekieta Law. Yeah, I don't care. It's right wing. You can go watch it if you want. What did I miss? Shapiro, he's not racist. Y'all are overreacting. Twitch Sub-Zero, new Mortal Kombat character. Thank you, sir. You do great work, sir. Who is this 14-year-old Pac-Man lookalike without a mustache? David, you are looking like a beta, B-A-E. Oh, I see what you did there. Very good. All right. Appreciate that. Can the MSNBC incident be grounds for a mistrial? I don't imagine how. What I really hope doesn't happen, is that the judge waits to rule on the mistrial until after the verdicts. And if there's guilty verdicts, then the judge goes, mistrial, everybody, mistrial. That would be insane. And I hope that it doesn't happen. Thank you for covering the trial, throwing $5 your way since you lost Facebook and Twitch revenue. Thanks, Jeff. Regardless of the verdict, can we please avoid violence? That's my hope. Oh, yeah, we were in the middle. Hold on a second.
Warm food around noon.
Yeah. We were in the middle of looking at some video from what's going on in Kenosha. We saw the Black Panther Party guy. We saw N-word white guy. We saw someone taken away in a police vehicle. We watched this one already. Let me see what else I had for you. Okay, so here, I think this is the same incident here, so we don't need to review that. This was yesterday. Hey, remember this guy? This guy was that witness, that right-wing nut. He now says he's getting death threats.
Immediately when I got off the stand, I already had DMs in my Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, people telling me to kill myself, saying I defended a murderer, people sending me pictures with human beings with targets on their back. I mean, that's pretty obvious. And also people saying, I hope you get shot. So, I mean, it's...
Now, interestingly, those aren't death threats, really. Like, as someone who has dealt with death threats, if I send to the, I've sent probably 50 death threats to the FBI. Guys, people complaining about focus and blurriness, it's on your end, guys. It's on your end. What is happening? It's like when people tell me I'm muted and it's like I'm doing an hour. I've been speaking for an hour. I'm obviously not muted. Saying kill yourself, the FBI does not consider a death threat in my personal experience. And saying I hope you die or get shot, the FBI actually also doesn't consider that a death threat in my experience.
It's interesting to hear how the prosecutor was trying to discredit me, saying that I'm biased because I'm saying Antifa and BLM are rioting in the footage, because they are. That's not biased. Yeah. But these threats just prove who these people are. There was...
It's weird because he hasn't actually, like, I think everybody should take threats very seriously. And I've told the story of when an FBI agent actually drove out to someone's house in, should I even say what state? You know, kind of like in the Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine area. They were not saying, David, I hope you kill yourself. You know, it was very, very different. I don't know.
There's nothing peaceful about Kenosha. Even right now, there's a reason why they called 500 National Guard out there right now, because they're preparing for more riots. There was nothing peaceful about Kenosha at all from the very beginning. I was there day one, 2 days before Kyle Rittenhouse even showed up to Kenosha. And Dan, you want to know who showed up with rifles first? It was the rioters. I have that on film. Drew H. Live. Everybody could go see it on my Twitter right now.
Did he say Jewish Live? That's weird. All right, so that's that. This was yesterday, the McCloskeys. This is more of this armed guy getting detained. It's getting very, very chaotic there. More McCloskey stuff. We don't need to look at that. This was from yesterday. Okay, so I think that's basically everything in terms of what's happening there. Okay, yeah. So we'll keep an eye on new stuff happening in Kenosha, but for the time being, just a few different things.
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we would just renew the motion for directed verdict of acquittal we made at the end of the state's case. Same arguments. I won't repeat any of them here, but I want to adopt all of them and apply them here at the end of the...
All right, so this continues, and we are... now very much into the 23rd hour of deliberations at this point in time. It is, it's getting there. We're really getting into serious deliberations. Excuse me. Choking now. Thank you. I want to say thanks to Christopher Hill, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code UnchargedPickles and is new member number 7. Also, thanks to Sully Divad, who just made a Patreon pledge. Those count double today, which puts us at 9. Okay, other super chats coming in. A number of the pickle. Thanks for very strong trial coverage, sir. The Adventures of Jump Kick Man and Bicep Boy. Did you see Matt Gaetz wants to hire Pickle House as an intern? I did. Anyone surprised there's more police and National Guard at the courthouse than there was in D.C. January 6th? Yeah. David, do you think that because Kyle incited the incident might rid him of the ability to claim self-defense? That's not the way it's being. That's not been a factor in the trial in any serious way. On behalf of neurodivergent half-Irish people, you are absolved of all cancellations from Destiny or otherwise. Okay. Let's see what's going on here.
The jury to return. So more preliminary matters that will have to be addressed tomorrow. Nima, I want to bring you back in. Tell us more, if you would, about any surprise or what you thought of the fact that, again, 7 witnesses present.
Okay, so they're talking about the other case. Hello from Denver. Is the anger surrounding this case really to do with Rittenhouse or a symptom of our partisan divide? I think, it could be both and other things as well. The longer this goes, the more I think hung jury, says Bay Photo. That is one possibility. Remember, hung jury, they have to be hung on each and every count. So you could have 4 verdicts and 1 count of hung jury. We don't know how many counts are currently holding them up. How does someone make the case Antifa was there? I thought they weren't even organized. That's sort of neither here nor there, big picture. Okay, let's get to some voicemails, folks. The voicemails are just pouring in. It's actually shocking how many there are. Let's just start with one from Whitney while we continue to explore others.
If Ben Shapiro wins the court cases where they're going to say that vaccination is not mandatory, I'm blaming the court system. I would never blame.
What's Ben doing? I don't even know what that's about.
David Packman, the media's role, at least the left-wing media, MSNBC in particular, has taken the Kyle Rittenhouse situation.
Anybody else finding themselves really bored by Troy York's commentary?
Dave Packman, the woman on MSNBC, she didn't humiliate Chris Christie. She just showed what an ignorant, typical host. Her name's not even with me.
Whatever. Jimmy from Philly called in. It looks like quite a screed.
David, Jimmy from Philly, right. I think you fucked up on your coverage of this trial. I think you really did. I speak to these kids. Some of these kids raided me after one of your live streams, and they're disillusioned with you, man. They don't like the way what you're saying about Kyle.
Well, then they could go watch something else. One of the weirdest things I find in the online space that we all live in is if you really don't like my show, why waste time watching it and then calling other people about me? Like, there's lots of shows I don't like. I just don't watch them. Am I crazy?
I think you're fucking nuts. They're like, what happened to him since 2017 and shit? You went too far with the Trump stuff. You're on the wrong side of everything, David. You really are.
Right. I should be saying Kyle is a hero and Trump is a hero.
I mean, this kid is a fucking hero. He is.
Okay.
Is it decent?
We're off. That's ban-worthy. The Kyle is a hero in all caps is ban-worthy, so we're going to move on from that. Let's see what else we've got. The voicemails are really, really, really pouring in here.
Hi, David. If it were a hung jury, do you think it would be a fair trial or would it be definitely a mistrial? Because if it were a hung jury, all the jurors would be men, right?
Oh, man, that's not bad.
Hey, David, I heard a super chat come in about the Rittenhouse trial. They asked, do you think that since Kyle incited the incident, could his claim to self-defense be invalidated? And you said that was not a serious aspect of the trial. I have to beg to differ. I believe the whole point of the video where Kyle points the gun at the Zeminskis.
Oh, yeah. No, see, so I mean something else. What I interpreted the super chat to mean and what people have been emailing me is saying, given the fact that Kyle chose to go at all and placed himself there with a gun, can that automatically blanket invalidate any claim of self-defense? That's what I understood. Of course, the caller is right. Very much at issue with Rosenbaum is if Kyle Rittenhouse leveled the firearm first, that's absolutely a factor. So I may have not been clear in what I said. And I apologize about that. Let's see what else we've got.
Hey, David. I have an interesting take on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial or case. I think personally that Kyle should pull a power move right now and at this stage fire his attorney. He should do that immediately, citing their incompetence and then hiring another attorney from Florida, specifically Sarasota, Florida. Okay. And then that
Sarasota, what?
Attorney will tell the judge that his client Kyle Rittenhouse is mentally unfit to stand trial. The judge will probably agree, and the case will be settled, and Kyle will be free from all charges.
All right. Well, if there's any lawyers in the chat who actually want to comment on that, I'm glad to hear from you.
Hi, David. This is Chris Copley. I just recently subbed on Patreon. I love your channel. First time caller in. I was there with you on 1/6. I watched your coverage all day that day. It was great that you did great coverage that day.
Thank you.
This trial is absolutely crazy. I could really see this going either way, and I just wanted to appreciate your daily coverage of it. I've been following with you and trying to participate in your comments, and I just really think that your conflict with Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II, Destiny, don't burn the bridge. You guys have differing opinions, but I respect you both. Anyway, I love you, David.
It's funny. Everybody talking about burning the bridge. I'm burning nothing. I'm just on one side of the bridge, and other people. It's crazy to be shooting at the bridge, setting explosive charges on the bridge, sending Molotov cocktails at the bridge, standing on the other side, trying to cut the bridge, and then saying to me, who's just standing, David, you really shouldn't burn this bridge. You really shouldn't do that. I'm not doing anything, guys. Please. Okay. Other voicemails.
Hey, David, do you think if the jurors are getting close to a
verdict tonight, they'll be lucky enough to get some hot food for dinner, perhaps even calzones. I don't know if they could be that lucky.
Yeah, no, that's a real question.
By the way, how are the calzones?
I wonder, I wonder if they would be able to come in and say, we want to continue deliberation, but we are going to need warm food at noon.
Warm food around noon.
Yeah. We'll watch for that. We will watch for that. Okay, let's reset because we do have almost 10,000 people here, and I want to explain everything that's going on. Right now, the Rittenhouse jury deliberation is halfway through the 23rd hour. They have completed 22 hours of deliberation, and they are 32 minutes into their 23rd hour of deliberation. That's how we have assessed how time works. Okay? It is very plausible, given that it is now 3:20 p.m. roughly in Kenosha, that if they don't really make progress in the next hour to 75 minutes, that may be it for today, and it would be another day without a verdict. Without a verdict. Second option, if in 75-ish minutes, when they would normally wrap, they feel like they're getting close and they want to keep deliberating, they can ask the court to continue doing that. I believe that they would be able to ask about dinner.
All right, how was the KFC? Very good, huh?
And they could continue deliberating into the night. I think that it is likely that if they are not feeling as though they can definitely agree on all the charges today, it's probably going into tomorrow. And then it's going to start over again tomorrow, and then they will be into hour, 25 or 26 or something like that. The vague idea of not guilty on everything, in my mind, is all but in the trash, in the toilet, wherever it is that you want to say it is.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
That we can forget about. That being said, it could still end up being not guilty on everything. But the idea of everyone comes in and we're just like, they never should have even brought this case. Obviously not the situation that's happening here. So we should know about that in a little bit. And we're really monitoring everything. There's nothing more that we could be monitoring other than I did want to get video from outside the courthouse because it has been getting a little dicier there. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find ourselves a good. Oh, there might not be anyone streaming outside right now. No, I'm not seeing it. Let's see if we just search for Kenosha and live streams. So we've got the PBS feed. Oh, hold on. I think I did find one here. Okay. This is Ruptly, which I think is like Russian propaganda, but it's just a single shot. So I guess we'll take it. I do try not to use this nonsense, but let's see what else we've got. Yeah. Okay. So we're keeping an eye out for what's going on. Relatively small crowd for now. The Pan-African flag is still there. One guy, again, another guy today arrested for having a gun very, very close. So we are standing by for that. Okay, a few other super chats. David, reconciliation package might pass today. Okay, we will look at that. Sir, how will the defendant's elements of medical play into the verdict? I don't know. Unless Destiny actually wants to talk about it instead of attacking people on Twitter, David's doing the right thing by letting it fly over his head. Go Pack. David, do you think there's any way Kyle's mother can be charged with criminal negligence for her part in dropping off Kyle? Did she drop Kyle off? Now it's not clear to me. I know that he was planning on getting a ride with someone back. I don't know. At this point, I'm not even, I'm just not sure. Dan says warm food around noon took up millibytes of the trial.
Megabyte. It was a 4 millibyte video.
Millibyte.
Titled.
Yeah. So sorry you have to deal with hysterics and weirdness. Tensions are high. People say whatever. Your coverage has been even-handed, measured, and fair, and I appreciate it. That's a powerful message of peace and love. Any idea where jurors are going to the bathroom? We know where they're not going to the bathroom.
Whatever you do, make sure you go to the bathroom somewhere other than the courtroom.
Exactly. Snack Squad on YouTube is streaming outside. Okay, let's pull that up. Snack Squad. Snack Squad. Ah, okay. It's a bit of a chaotic shot, but we'll keep. I mean, it's like it looks like about 10 frames per second. Not even, maybe 5. Okay, so we're watching all of it, guys, and we may hear from the judge in a bit. We're watching all of it. I want to say a huge thank you to. Is this trying to get me into saying something I shouldn't? Okay. I want to say thank you to Moon Pie Wee. Okay. And Austin Green for signing up on my website, joinpacman.com. Very, very much appreciate that, guys. Thank you. David, why was Jesus such a thirst trap? That I can't comment on. I predict a hungry jury verdict. David, sir, any debates lined up in the future? No, the Charlie Kirk people reached out to me about being on that show, but I got to go to Phoenix for it, and they don't pay you anything. So, I don't know. It's just, it's like 3 days to do an hour debate for no money. I don't know. They say they're a nonprofit, they're like, we're a nonprofit, so we can't pay you any money. It's like, what? You're a nonprofit that has so much funding from all these millionaires. He's not actually in Phoenix. He's in Arizona. I'm just saying Phoenix just to be, Okay. David, maybe if you cheat the logarithms, you can get back on Twitch. You should ask Kyle's lawyers how to do that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Sir, how was the KFC? Pretty good, huh? I thought it was great. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do this whole KFC thing again. I've not had fast food for 20 years. Many of you don't know that. I've never mentioned that before. But I did when a KFC opened near me about 10, 12 years ago. I went and I got a crispy strip meal with mashed coleslaw and a buttermilk biscuit. Okay. Let me just ban a few more people, guys. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that. Let's get to a few other voicemails here.
Hey, David. My name is Ronnie. I'm from Illinois, and I've been watching all kinds of this shit on each different aspect and watching the live chats. I honestly think it's not going to go in the favor of Kyle Rittenhouse. A lot of people are saying dump him. A lot of people are saying he's not guilty. So,
what?
In my opinion, 100%, I think if it's voting like America is, hopefully we'll get a guilty verdict. Thanks for everything you do. Love you, man. Peace out.
I'm not sure I even understand that, but I very, very much appreciate it.
Trump was right, David. People are flushing their toilets 10 and 15 times because of giant logarithms.
Okay.
David, my pickle charger is broken. I now have a refrigerator full of uncharged pickles.
That guy's pretty good.
Hey, David, first time voicemail caller. Just wondering if you have any advice on speaking clearly, because I found you're definitely the most clear and concise speaker I've probably ever heard run a news show. I just want to know if you have any advice on that, on how to clearly get your point across. And thanks for the show. Good day.
You know, I really don't. You don't seem to have any problem speaking clearly. So I don't even know that you necessarily need my advice, to be perfectly frank. You seem to be making a lot of sense.
Hi, David. My name is Sean, and I've been following the Rittenhouse case, and I know that we've all been ragging on the judge, but I wanted to, someone that has a CS degree, computer science degree, I've been finding it quite alarming how lenient the judge is when the defense has made like numerous claims about technology that are completely and utterly wrong. So some things you can kind of be like, okay, I can dismiss that. That's an easy thing, where the defense attorney says a logarithm, which is a math function, when he means an algorithm.
Sure.
Or he makes these claims about AI being in technology, and it doesn't have to be substantiated at all. And I think that's what has been so alarming, how out of touch it seems like these lawyers, and frankly, the judges as well, when it comes to these things. And the fact that he's willing to make some arbitrary decisions about the case based on this like magical technology that doesn't exist. And
Very well
other
said.
things as well, especially with technology. Yesterday, when they're trying to explain the different file formats, and how, frankly, when you're going from different operating systems and specifically also different, in this case, software when it comes to Google or Gmail, I thought it was just ridiculous that they had these people that so clearly know nothing about technology. And that's what's clear. And the funny thing is they're looking at grounds for dismissal of a case potentially.
It's disturbing.
And the fact is, it's not like it's just one side that has no clue what the heck is going on with technology. It's both of them. And so the thing is with the software, when you send things through Gmail, I mean, that's proprietary. So it very, very much could be that they do have some kind of zipping or altering of the file. But it's also bizarre because you think what should be done, and I would have assumed like this would have been a commonplace, is if you're going to share some technology, you should be sharing like a file hash, which is to say it's the exact as the exact file that was sent and received.
Exactly.
And I guess I've been so alarmed because normally when I look at cases, I look at Supreme Court cases, how much of a, frankly, shit show this has been, because there's not these restrictions and there's not these basic, like, fundamental, oh yes, there's a way to, like, verify things. And it's really just a spectacle, and it's quite depressing. And I know I could speak this ad nauseum, but thank you for your time.
I nominate that potentially for the voicemail of the year, very, very accurately assessing the disturbing nature of, and you know, the problem is, it's not just that they're all kind of clueless. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, there was this funny moment yesterday where Assistant District Attorney Jim Krause said, you know, Your Honor, if I could do the things they're accusing me of doing, I would have a much better job, which was really funny. But at the same time, he's also saying we don't even have the capacity to trick them in the way that they're saying that we trick them. But it's that the defense has done a far better job of playing off of the judge's incompetence technologically to their benefit, Your show is like MSNBC without type 2 diabetes commercials. Okay. Can you please address the comment that Michael Matthias keeps posting? The man who survived being shot by Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm guessing you're talking about the Gage Grosskreutz thing. There's nothing to address. It's like, okay, yeah, the Rosenbaum charge has nothing to do with that. I mean, what do you want me to address? It's already been dealt with in court. Christy says, sorry about Twitch tossing some money to make up a fraction. With the shaving of your mustache, I'm curious if you worked out the razor direction relative to your hair follicle to limit razor burn. Absolutely. I got myself some beard oil and some sensitive skin Aveeno gel. And now I'm shaving all properly, and I've reduced cuts and scrapes by about 90%, which is really, really good. I want to say thank you to Danny Richter. Danny just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, and is new member number 12. Looks like we have a little bit of action here. Let's see what's going on. Maybe another arrest. It does seem like someone else is getting arrested, yeah. What's happening is there's people bringing guns very close to the courthouse, which is close to a school. So now they've got another individual that they're examining. I guess they're letting him go. I guess they checked him for a gun. Someone might have said this guy has a gun, check him or something like that. Tensions seem to be running high. Let's put it that way. And there are a lot more people here all of a sudden. We've been watching this and there's a lot of people now. In the courtroom, not much of anything happening, so we're continuing to stand by there. But outside, it's getting a little bit chippy. Why am I not streaming on Twitch? Could anyone in the chat answer that? Because I feel like that's come up before. We got banned from Twitch last Monday because of a 10-second video exhibit that was gory. And we got banned from Twitch for a month. So we had 1,000 paid subscribers. Now it says 0 because of that. Okay. We have also been demonetized on Facebook for broadcasting this trial. So that is what it is. If it bothers you that happened, I would implore you to support our stream by signing up on my website, joinpacman.com. We do an extra show for members only every day. You can use the coupon code UnchargedPickles to save 69%. That's a forever discount. I get emails from people saying, sir, when does the price go back to normal? Never. I would never do that to you. If you get a discount, you keep that discount for as long as you want. As long as you want. Okay? And I will thank every single person who signs up on my website. So please do so, because this could be like one of our best months. And sadly, it's not going to be because of the multiple bans and demonetization. It's depressing. Someone emailed me and said, David, do you think you would have been better off not streaming any of this trial? And I think the answer is yes, quite frankly. But it is what it is. And we're going to be here through to the end. All right. Other messages. Curious, why haven't they brought in a computer science person to clarify the tech issues? The judge is scared by pickles. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I think they're detaining people with skateboards, maybe. How could you shave the mustache? I fought for it in the streets. Yeah, it's gone. Should be charged with something, but I don't see charges sticking. He was legally defending himself even if he shouldn't have been there. No, yeah, okay, I'm not charged with something. I'm not even going to deal with that. David shot out of a cannon today. Any plans to reschedule your appearance on the Atheist Experience? I don't even recognize that name, the name of that show. I don't know what that is. David, it does bother me that Twitch banned you and Facebook demonetized you, but I can only sign up to support you so many times. What more can I do? Fair. I'm riled up on the fact you lost Twitch followers. I've been an avid supporter and have put you on to several of my friends. Good job with the case. Katya, he's banned from Twitch, guys. It's for 30 days. It's frustrating. He will be back. I'll donate subs as soon as the Twitch is back up and running. Yeah, I think that, let me see where 30 days would put us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. December 7th is when I guess we would be scheduled to be allowed back on Twitch. That's what it's looking like right now. So, it is what it is. I want to say thanks to Andy Newman. Andy Newman signing up at joinpacman.com with the coupon code UnchargedPickles.
Uncharged Pickles?
And that's new member number 13 today. Okay, let's get to a few more voicemails. And my guess is might only be 20 minutes until we're going to hear something from the judge. In fact, let's actually see what's happening now on Court TV. The Court TV feed freezes a lot.
With the authorities on any investigation. The Kenosha Police Department also posted a statement about what happened last night, and they said a person who's alleging to be affiliated with a national media outlet was briefly taken into custody and issued several...
I actually Googled the guy's name. His LinkedIn says he works for MSNBC.
Photograph jurors. This incident is being investigated. There was no breach of security regarding the jury, nor were there any photographs obtained. This investigation remains active and open according to the Kenosha Police Department. So that is the news, really the only news we've heard coming out of this courthouse. As you can imagine, they want to keep security around these jurors pretty tight, Ashley.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've read about what's the intent. What was the intent of the MSNBC producer? And the reality is I don't think it matters what the intent is. You shouldn't be following around a jury bus. And I think the judge has done the right thing. And I respect that this judge does say on the record what he's thinking. I know there's been a lot of talk about things that he's saying and doing, but he's certainly putting it on the record. Chanley, let's shift gears to jury questions. And one of the things I wanted to start with were just logistics when it comes to jury
This is good.
because I love you all there in the field have been working around the clock because I'm just holding up what we have. And it's a copy of one of the jury questions on the form that they use. And the importance to me in this is for everyone to realize that when a jury has a question, there is a form or a format that's used. It's then signed by the presiding juror or the foreperson of the juror. And then it's also file stamped, right? Because they want it to be part of the record. So we know that's happened, but give us more specifics on what this jury has been asking.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think it's so telling for us as we try to figure out what they're actually doing back there in the deliberation room, right? To see some of the forms, like you said, I have them as well, and how they're filling it out and what they're requesting and the time that they're actually requesting. So we pulled out the request number 1 and number 2. This is from the first day of deliberations, the first time we heard from the jury after they resumed deliberations, and we see that at 10:17 a.m., that's when they were requesting copies of 11 more copies of pages 1 through 6 of the jury instructions. And you can see it signed by presiding juror number 54. We don't know exactly which juror on the jury panel that is, but we get a good look at his or her handwriting on here. But way better handwriting than I have.
Here we go.
But then we know about 4.5 hours later, in that same day, they requested 11 more copies of the remainder of those jury instructions. So it seems as though they spent much of the day, probably about 4 hours or so, on pages 1 through 6, Ashley, before they actually started reading the rest of the document, which would concern the charges, the elements of the charges against Kyle Rittenhouse. But those first 6 pages, again, covered self-defense, the elements of self-defense, really key here for the defense. So I just thought that was interesting to get an inside glimpse into what this jury has been going through and working on.
And I really appreciate they asked for 11 copies. What does that mean? Obviously, it means that each juror would have a copy of those jury instructions. So I think they're being very deliberate, likely, and going through the exact law that's relayed in those jury instructions to determine what they're going to decide as a jury. I also want to bring in now Chanley Nima Rahmani, who has stayed with us and can join us in this conversation. Nima, what are your thoughts about the fact that yesterday we had the jury questions and we have those that have been filed, 5 different sets of questions, and today it's been quiet and we are now at, what, 4:45 Eastern time, still no word from this jury?
Yeah, a lot of this is reading the tea leaves, Ashley, and Chanley and I have gone through this many times. But look, this is a difficult case. We knew it from the outset. This wasn't going to be easy. And the way that the evidence came out for the prosecution was not ideal. And this is coming as a former prosecutor. So now you have a jury who's asked for copies of the jury instructions. Frankly, it should have been given to them from the outset. There's no reason there should be 1 copy. But now they have 12 copies, 1 for each juror. And they asked for playback yesterday, about 45 minutes. They were in the courtroom, and they asked for 2 videos, and as well as the FBI infrared video. Well, again, this is reading the tea leaves, but some of the evidence that they asked for does tend to help the defense. So maybe, this is just speculation, of course, we don't know what's going on there. Maybe there are some jurors that need some persuasion, and there's folks that are maybe buying the either perfect or imperfect self-defense argument. I can tell you that as a former prosecutor, normally a hung jury and a mistrial is a bad thing, but in this particular case, a do-over may be the best possible thing for the state of Wisconsin.
All right, Chanley, I want to see if we can bring up, I know that we have it available at one point, the question about those videos Nima just referred to and what all the jury requested. And my specific question for you, hopefully we can pull up the full screen and be able to look at that together. But what was the talk, if there is any, there in Kenosha? And you can see the video that they asked to see of Rosenbaum, the Grosskreutz video, and watching that in the courtroom, the jury did. Any discussion, Chanley, just in the last 30 seconds about that request?
Yeah, so I think it was interesting. They requested a handful of videos, like you said, Gage, Grosskreutz live stream video, but also request number 5, the FBI aerial infrared video with the markings on it, and that controversial drone video. Ashley, they spent about 45 minutes yesterday afternoon inside that courtroom alone, going through these videos as many times as they wanted to, and they have, this is what they wanted to see. They had all the room by themselves, and it's interesting also to me that they haven't requested anything further today, because they could request again to watch whatever or see whatever documents that were entered into evidence, and it's just we haven't heard from them all day long.
Wow, and I'm watching that video, and you're right, it's a short video. The amount of time they were in the courthouse watching this evidence over and over, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what it means, but I still would suggest that it means they are taking their job seriously, as we know juries do. Chanley Painter, thank you so much for joining us live, as always, from Kenosha, and I know that you're going to stay with us, Nima. Up next, we're going to be talking about Roddy Bryan's defense and the attorney that has made repeated attempts to get black pastors banned from the gallery in the McMichael trial.
All right, so now they're going into the McMichael trial. So that's the latest. They are also very much aware of the fact that we just haven't heard from anybody. We haven't heard from anybody one way or the other. And we are only 2.5 minutes, if you can believe this, from entering the 24th hour of jury deliberations. In a few minutes, we are going to be in the 24th hour of jury deliberations, which is incredible. I have to announce something incredible. This is one of the biggest membership dumps we have ever had in a 5-minute period.
Big, massive dumps.
I want to say thank you to the following people who have gotten memberships on my website, joinpacman.com. Look at this. They're almost coming in faster than I can read them. I don't know that this has ever happened. Julie Clucker, Corey Moultrie. We're going to get into some names here that are going to be very dicey. Bradford Meyer, Philip Minshall, Tony Nieto, Dijon Lawless, Drew Misko, Sir Kills a Lot, Richard Lee, Dom Vella, Noah Pilvainen, Anthony Aiello, and Braden Sorensen all just signed up on my website. That's 13, putting us at 26. Now, that's not all.
Dumps.
Lauren Lance, Janet Odell have signed up. Eric McGreevy. I'm feeling pretty good about my pronunciation so far. Mitchell Pop, Samantha Blinn, Devin Riley is a new member, and Stephen Laparte, also a new member. That's another 7, which is 33. Excuse my math. And lastly, I want to say thanks to Ryan Van, Sebastian Martins, Jason Jones, Yvette Rosary, and Teresa Pugh, who have just signed up. That's an additional 5, putting us at 38.
And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called by the biggest people saying, congratulations, political people.
Right.
Congratulations, sir, you just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over. And then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
Yep.
In Michigan and Pennsylvania and all over. If you take a look.
Okay. So now a new group of people have shown up. One has a sort of statuette of Kyle Rittenhouse, which says with K's, convict killer Kyle, an allusion to KKK. The guy is dressed like Where's Waldo, holding a megaphone, a red hat, a pinstriped blazer of sorts, and a red scarf element of some kind. So it's certainly starting to get cartoonish. Let's see if we have any audio. No, this is this is a muted feed. And for now, still no activity in the courtroom as the sun is just starting to set a little bit in Kenosha. And we don't know the full scope of what's going to happen today, but a lot happening there. Getting very, very escalated, as you can all imagine. Okay, I had a couple of other things here for you guys. Let me make a note. There's that. Okay, David, if someone tries bribing a juror or inquiring about deliberation, is it grounds for a mistrial? I don't think I can answer that. Sir just sent comments about the nationalists in Poland. I hope they find their way to you. The comments, not the nationalists. All right, I will check it out. David, hear me out. Getting banned on Twitch and streaming this trial is better in the long run. It only garners more support and solidifies your base of supporters. Well, that is a message of peace and love if I've ever heard one. Don't worry, David. We'll support you. Thanks for streaming the trial. Katya says, everyone mark your calendars. December 7th, we'll celebrate the Pac-Man Twitch return. Jen says, I miss gifting subs on Twitch, but I'll make up for it when you're back. Be honest, they banned you over the illegal coupon codes. Thank you, sir. Let's see. I mean the hang up with Matt Dillahunty, not AE. I thought you were going to be on. Oh, yeah, I was going to do something with Matt Dillahunty. I ended up being unable to due to, I think we had an internet outage, and it hasn't been rescheduled, and I don't know if it will. Would you go debate Charlie Kirk if your fans funded the trip? I don't know. I mean, maybe. It's just, here's the thing. There was a time in my career where any little thing would move the needle. Being on like a tiny radio show that 50 people might listen to, it would move the needle because I might only have 25 listeners. And so I would say yes to everything. But one of the things I do a lot more now is I just say no. I say no to a lot of stuff because it really doesn't move the needle. And I have so many different things I want to be doing. So, the thing about going to the West Coast to debate Charlie Kirk, it's, first of all, if I don't want to miss shows, right? Because otherwise I got to miss shows because it's all day. It's a 6-hour flight out there and then a 5-hour flight back. So it's 3 days minimum. So how do I even avoid missing a show? And I just don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm just kind of bored with a lot of this stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Jesse Lee Peterson, Charlie Kirk. I get it. Okay. Keep up the good work, David. Fun, lighthearted question. What's your opinion of pandas? I'm fine with pandas. Has a verdict been reached? No. And if so, what is the verdict? We don't know. David, Sir, Destiny's getting more toxic. And Brace Vouch, the person who mentioned atheist experience, probably meant your canceled appearance on Dillahunty's. Okay, yeah. We cleared that up. David, could the prosecution use the judge's handling of the trial as a motive to appeal? From what lawyers are telling me, no. I want to say thank you to a few more people grabbing memberships on my website. Edward Mulhern just signed up. Is this Iada or Lada? I think it's Iada Helgeson has just signed up. Jack Richardson is a new member. So is Ed George. Thanks to Jonathan Moody and James Carfield. Kyle Millipickle has just signed up.
Millibite.
Also, thanks to Andre Alvarez, who has signed up as well. That is 8 new members, putting us at 46. And then I also want to say thank you to Jason Watts for the Patreon pledge. Those count double. Folks, that's 2. And that puts us at 48 today. Yes, things are starting to build outside the courthouse. KKK Where's Waldo guy is here with a megaphone. I wish we could hear him. Oh, let's see if here we can hear anything. No, there's no audio. Oh, wait, no, this one I muted. Hold on.
No. 3:51 p.m. Central Time. Just look in the top right. There's a date time stamp on my stream. You might be behind. Just make sure there's a DVR setting turned on. So just make sure that you're caught up and you're live because.
Hey guys, this is the Snack Squad stream. They only have 400 people watching. Do you think there's any way we could communicate with this guy and get him to interview some of these people for us? Do you think that would be even at all possible? I mean, this seems to be a small enough stream that we might be able to actually get interviews with some of these people right now.
Still, the court feed is a part of this stream. It's just either you guys can watch outside or stare at the court seal. It is very cold. I've been out here a few times. I need to warm up. Thank you so much, Sam. so I've been taking breaks, but I've been out here as much as I can.
All right, if somebody behind the scenes can work on that, that would be really interesting if we can get some live interviews going on there, because things are starting to get pretty crazy. It seems that guy is kind of off to our right over here, if you look at where he's standing, right? Oh, I'm seeing people now in the chat saying Pacman is saying do some interviews. Pacman is streaming you. Let's see if he'll mention it.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Live on Mercado Media on Facebook, Snack Squad on YouTube. I'm Andrew Mercado. Yep, Snack Squad on YouTube. I would love to do live interviews, but the audio quality is bad, and you can't really hear over the chanting. I have the microphone right up to my mouth.
I see. Oh, wow.
So you guys can hear me, but it's not the best situation for interviews.
If he were to step away down to the street and find somebody with a wacky sign to talk to, that would be super interesting. We're kind of this is amazing. We're communicating with this guy through the chat. It's amazing.
But we have the court feed attached, so the interview audio won't be good. It sounds like you're in a soup can. Yeah, you guys can hear me great. It's just everything else doesn't sound good.
Interesting. I think it would be fascinating to talk to some of the people down by the street level. Just building chaos there. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it, but if things get going there, let me know and we can get back to it. Look, I'm trying to find, like, it must be one of these people right over here, right? That's holding the camera based on where he's standing. Oh, he's right up there, actually. Interesting. I can never understand chants. It's like, wait, what are you saying? I never know what they're talking about. It's wild. I just don't know what it is that they're talking about. Okay, let's monitor this and then we'll see what happens. Other super chats coming in. Do you use blue for everything due to color blindness? No, I'm not colorblind. It's why Zuckerberg made Facebook blue. I'm colorblind and it sucks. Cost me jobs. I'm sorry to hear that, but no, I'm not colorblind. The whole situation outside the courthouse is a clown show. Send Destiny a DM asking him to chat. I don't think he's mad. He's inflammatory. He looks bored. We've built a nice audience right now of 11,000 people. I'm worried if I go and talk to Destiny right now, I lose half the audience. So I don't know that I want to do that right now. Isn't it ironic Rittenhouse went to prevent destruction, but caused it and caused destruction of life? He took a gun to feel safe, but felt threatened. Oh, wait, is something happening here? Let's see. Okay, no, there's not any productive discussion happening right there at this point in time. Okay, so we'll continue looking at that. David, can you add a matte black water bottle to your store? I have no idea. We could look into that. Speaking of Jesse Lee Peterson, is he real or not? I suffer from mental anguish trying to figure out if he's genuine. Yeah, it was genuine. It was genuine. Is the gathering crowd entirely pro-conviction? No, absolutely not. We saw some videos earlier. I heard the chant, calzones are guilty.
By the way, how are the calzones?
I might get a calzone for dinner tonight. To see if my girlfriend's up for that, but I haven't had a good calzone in a long time. Jimmy from Philly is dumping in some voicemails.
David, Jimmy from Philly. Wiped. So Wiki just said you're worth $124 million. Now, if that's true, why are you shilling for $2.99 memberships on YouTube? I mean, Jesus Christ, it's pathetic.
Sometimes you meet people and they're just not business oriented. What people go, why are the memberships so cheap? How do you make $2? But there's 7.8 billion people on this planet. And this is sort of like, you know, some people are just very much empathy oriented. Some people are incredibly good at doing things with their hands. Some people are good at different things. If you sell something that's $1 a million times, it's $1 million. So it's a very, you know, it's like what? Okay. Let's listen to the next one.
David, Jimmy from Philly, wiped. So 124 million, and you're doing your own lawn, right? I mean, you claimed like a year or two ago that you're cutting the grass, you're doing the leaves. I'm going to need to see video evidence of that, David. No one making $124 million a year is cutting their own lawn. Come on, David.
So you know what's really funny about that? I do my own lawn. Yeah. I've said before, I have an electric lawnmower, which I love because it doesn't, you know, I don't want gasoline. Can you imagine having gallons of gasoline around and then they might spill, they could set on fire. I do my own lawn. I typically do my own leaves as well. But this year, because it's been so warm, as you know,
Warm food around noon.
because it's been so warm, the leaves really won't need to be done into December. And I'm going to be away basically all of December. So I admit there's going to be a service doing the leaves this year. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. But the lawn I do myself. Okay. And one more sort of weird commentary from Jimmy.
David, Jimmy from Philly, wiped. You know, I think it's kind of pathetic that I at least support you through a membership and super chats. When you unban me, I might give you another super chat, David. But the majority of your people don't spend a cent. Pathetic.
I don't even know who he's criticizing there. Okay, I'm going to prove to you guys, Jimmy, I'm going to prove to you this issue with the unbanning, okay? I'm going to prove to you the issue that's going on. If I go over here, as you can see here, unblock user. Oh, wait, hold on. Unblock user. Okay, I'm going to click it. I'm going to show you this glitch. Unblock user. This will allow them to comment. Yes. Okay. Now I refresh. You go back. Unblock user. It's a glitch. We have 5 or 6 people we're trying to unban. I'm not lying, Jimmy. I literally can't unban you. I've tried to unblock you 10 times. It's a YouTube glitch. Please stop talking to me about it. I have the list. Our YouTube rep is working on it. Can you imagine what I have going on that I'm personally trying to handle this issue? Yeah, just avoid getting banned. That's the idea. Let's see what's going on here. Seems sort of like general chaos. Yeah, the audio is pretty bad. Let's see if we can see, where is that taking place? Having a hard time seeing. Okay, I hope that people are aware that time is getting very, very tight for a verdict today. Anytime in the next 15 to 45 minutes, they would presumably wrap for the day, which would push us into a 4th day of deliberation tomorrow. I do want to see what's happening on Court TV. They had some interesting commentary. Nothing right now. Now they're talking about the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. We are into the 24th hour, guys. 24th hour of deliberation here. 24th hour of deliberation, which is incredible. Sir, I have to ask, is your lawnmower powered by pickles? Pacman, Google says your net value is 14 billion since you were franchised in 1980. What does your membership drive say about that? Yes, Phoebe, exactly. I can never tell if Jimmy is an unhinged Trump supporter, one of your bigger fans, or one of your biggest fans, or simply a troll. Has the drone been charged with perjury by the defense yet? Please don't talk to Destiny. Can I get an Obama? Never Stop Voices YouTube is streaming with audio. Let's see what they have going. Never Stop Voices. Oh, this looks interesting. Yeah, they're right in the crowd. Let's see what we've got. Is it snowing in Kenosha now? Oh, I'm being told the judge is back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Something's happening. Oh, the judge is on the phone. Oh, no. All right, so something is happening. Everybody stand by. We are on verdict watch here. Let me thank people signing up because there's so many great people here. I apologize. I've neglected some thank yous. Something's happening. Let's see. Hot Calzones is a new member.
By the way, how are the calzones?
Joshua Lee is a new member. Timothy Johnson is a new member. Dominic Muller. Thanks to Glenda Wynn. Joshua Strait has signed up. Jackie Kelly is a new member. Kim Blunt has signed up. Nancy Downs. Thank you, Nancy. Peter Chaconis has signed up. That's an additional 10, putting us at 58. Also, thanks to Linda, who made a Patreon pledge. Those count double today, putting us at 60. People standing, meaning the jury is coming in. They may be calling it for the day, guys. They may be calling it early. I can't imagine that there's a verdict. I think it would have been announced in the media. This may be it for the day. Oh, God. That cough will not go away. You know what the news might be.
Pizza is here.
Exactly. Oh, thanks also to Jeffrey Holland, newest member on my website. Thanks, Jeffrey. I really do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Oh, Jimmy now understands the YouTube glitch.
David, Jimmy from Philly. Worked. So I will accept your explanation of a YouTube glitch. Yes!
Good evening, everyone. You've certainly put in a full day and have asked to retire for the evening, which is fine. And I'm going to ask that is 9 o'clock okay again tomorrow? Okay. Any questions, anybody? Now, does it pertain to your deliberations at all? As opposed to mechanics about
Just whether or not I can take something home.
whether or not
I could take the jury instructions home.
can you take the jury instructions home?
Yikes.
Yes. Yes, but
What is happening?
talk to anybody about that. Yeah, yes, you may do so. And any question?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Same rules. Don't read, watch, or listen on any count of the trial, and don't discuss the case with anybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the evening.
Wow. Guys, this isn't feeling like it's almost over. Can I take the instructions home after another full day of negotiation? Anything could be happening. Anything could be happening here. Let's see if there's anything else here that is discussed. Wow. Can I take them home does not signal to me at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow we're going to have a verdict for you.
Are the alternates in the library? Yeah.
All right, now they're bringing in the alternates. Thanks to Peyton Manning for signing up at joinpacman.com with the coupon code UnchargedPickles. Very much appreciate the support, Peyton. Thank you. I feel like the judge asks himself, will this help Kyle before he makes any decisions? You're not the only person feeling that way. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, but...
The records clerk sent you a...
We are going to also look back here. Oh, let's see.
And they've said on all of the days, today being day 3, no, we want to go home. So,
okay.
Good afternoon, the most patient people in America. We're going to break for the day, and I'm going to ask you to return tomorrow at 9. Is that going to be okay? And I know we're over our time that I talked about initially. You're
This is torture. Torture.
Please adhere to the same rules. Don't read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial. And don't discuss the case with anyone, not even with your fellow jurors. Any question? Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Wow. Imagine just having to sit there. You're not even part of the jury negotiation, deliberations. You just sit there on your laptop all day. What a nightmare. Nightmare.
The pack defense. He's got a book there. He's got a...
At some point...
the pack defense, so I know it is reading matters.
Oh,
but
God.
Now the record will reflect that it's probably a bad habit to ask the jury any questions. You can do that. You can get away with that a lot, and then all of a sudden you learn your lesson. Although I don't think there's any harm done. But I typically do that, as you know, throughout the trial, and I don't usually have this situation. But anyway, and then I did it a second time. But anyway, the record will reflect that when I asked, when the juror inquired if she could take the instructions home, which also means can they take the instructions home, I didn't see reaction from the state side. I did see a wag of the head by Mr. Richards urging me to say no, but I did it anyway. So, did you want to make a record on it?
I'm afraid it's going to be the old dictionary game, and they start defining words and things like that, the outside research.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Well, actually, no, because they could do that at home without having the paperwork, and instead they have the wonderful, concise jury instructions that I have to say, I don't know about you guys, but I watch a little TV in the morning and in the evening, and some of the greatest legal minds in the country, I'm delighted to say, agree with us that the instructions are very confusing. But
the only thing I would say is I don't think it would be appropriate for them to bring their notes home.
No, you're right about that. No notes to go home. That's correct. So no notes to go home, but they may take their
No notes to go home.
If they
That's
have
interesting.
notes on their instructions, I'm going to let them take those.
It's a mouthful.
Okay? Thank you. Anything else? Okay. See you in the morning. Thank you.
So, folks, this is the third day now. The third day of deliberations have wrapped up. Let's see the coverage over on Court TV.
Watch a little TV in the morning and in the evening. And some of the greatest legal minds in the country, I'm delighted to say, agree with us that the instructions are very confusing. But,
The only thing I would say is I don't think it would be appropriate for them to bring their notes home.
No, you're right about that. No notes to go home. That's correct. So no notes to go home, but they may take their instructions. If they have notes on their instructions, I'm going to let them take those. Okay?
Huh.
Anything else? Okay. See you in the morning. Thank you.
All right, everyone has gone home for the day. What a perfect opportunity to have with us Sarah Schmeiser, who is a criminal defense attorney in Wisconsin.
Let's see the analysis.
What's your initial reaction to what just happened about the jury question and the judge saying you can take the jury instructions home?
Well, my initial reaction is that's pretty shocking, actually. I was surprised, not by the question, I guess, as much as by the judge's response saying, yes, you can take the jury instructions home. He put on the record just after that while he didn't elicit any information from the state, the defense shook their head. I think the obvious concern is outside research, but also I would be concerned with, they're not supposed to discuss the case. They're not supposed to deliberate outside the presence of the other jurors. Given how long this jury is taking to make a decision, to try to reach a decision, I just think there must be quite a lot of discussion going on and some differing factions.
Let me ask you this. So here's what's typical in my jurisdiction. In my jurisdiction here in the state of Georgia, what's typical is everything that the jury has in the jury room stays in the jury room. When it comes to any of the exhibits, jury instructions, notes, when they go home, if they're not sequestered, when they go home, and even if they're sequestered, when they go to their hotel room, they don't get to take any of that with them. What is the normal practice or the regular practice? I don't know that normal's the right word, but what do you typically see in court in Wisconsin in your experience?
Right.
Absolutely the same thing that you're describing. I have never had a juror be able to take anything out of the jury room, and of course they're given the warnings every night. Don't discuss the case. Don't deliberate outside the presence of the jury, the other jurors.
Yeah, the notes thing is one thing. I have a really hard time believing that this entire time they go home, their loved ones are watching news about the trial, and the jurors are saying, excuse me, I'm going to go into the other room. It is impossible for me to believe that. It is just, I just don't believe it. And I know people will say, oh, but they're, whatever. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I'm told Destiny sent me a message. Do we want to do this? I guess I'd consider doing it. Let's see here. He says, if you want to chat about the Rittenhouse stuff, let me know, babe, with a heart. That's weird. Okay, give me a call now. Wrapping soon otherwise. I don't really want to talk about Rittenhouse. I want to talk about what's going on with him. It's like we've gotten the Rittenhouse stuff ad nauseum. Thanks to Kathleen Butler, who just signed up on my website. Kathleen, thank you. I really appreciate that. You're number 63 today. Also, thank you to Patrick McIsaac, who is a new member on my website, number 64 with the coupon code Uncharged Pickles.
Uncharged Pickles?
Wow. So we may be speaking to Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II. We may not. I don't know. It's just like I'm so sick of talking about the case, Let's see if he calls. That was, that was only a minute ago. You should see it, hopefully. Yeah, I have no idea why the jury is not sequestered. I have no idea either. And I like in this super chat, Taleggio for life. That's a perfect cheese. It's a really a great, great, great cheese. I like that a lot. Let's see. Where is Steven? I know I'll lose half the audience, but it's like I think I'm going to lose them now anyway, so I'm more open to doing the Destiny stuff. Let's see if he actually calls. He may be ghosting me. It's pretty ugly, everything that's going on, quite frankly. Let's listen to a little bit more here. Oh, no, they're going to a break. Okay. I'll give Destiny like 3 more minutes. Otherwise, I'm probably going to wrap and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. Destiny's not a good person. You have a moral obligation to no longer engage because it would enable destructive behavior. That seems like a very grand, I'm not, Okay, here he is. Let's see. He's going to call me. Should be interesting. Is he even live right now? Here we go. Kenny?
Packy? Whoa, wait, that's actually not a good word. Pac-Man, what's up?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh man, are we not friends anymore?
That's to be determined. We'll know by the end of this conversation, I guess.
Yeah, well, the conversation may be shorter than you might think.
Uh-oh, okay.
Yeah, no, so here's the thing. Mike, I'm going to cut right to the chase. It's just like, I'm worried that you are kind of falling into a kind of depressive black and white thinking where any dissent will not be tolerated. You are looking to have problems with people on the left as part of this whole, like, the left is going, I can't stand the left and all this different stuff, when it's like, it's not even clear to me we have big disagreements necessarily about this case, but it seems like either for lulls or because of something that you've got going on, which I would want to explore, that I'm worried about you.
I mean, we can talk about any of the specific disagreements that I have if you think that I am just hating the left, but I think that all of my disagreements so far with the way that people have talked about this case, I think have been pretty on point. I think they've been very substantive, but I mean, if you...
Substantiative. Now that's it. Yes. We should explore that. What does that mean?
Like if you substantive, I think I'm pronouncing it right, means that you have a disagreement, but it has something with substance. There's a basis and important fact there. It's not just like oh, I'm mad because I don't like this person or whatever, right?
I gotcha. Let me ask you this. Your tweet last night about me being on copium and with the F-bomb, does that not seem a little hyperbolic to you?
No, I'm actually like really triggered by the amount of misinformation that a lot of people are spreading relating to the case.
Okay.
So your tweet had said that the Rittenhouse defense seems rattled by the fact that jury deliberation is into its 15th hour and have now demanded a mistrial over an exhibit that is already in evidence.
Yes.
This tweet is so unbelievably not even remotely resembling reality.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We don't know if the defense is rattled, right? We don't know one way or the other. I'm giving an opinion. It's not a question of whether it's based in reality. It's my opinion is that based on the way that the do you remember? I don't know. Have you watched the entire trial or have you watched clips of the trial?
I've not the entire thing, but I've watched many hours of it.
Okay.
I'm sure there's been parts that I've missed, but
did you see when there was a lot of discussion about the jury instructions?
I don't know if I've seen that part. No.
Okay. If you haven't seen that, you would be unable to adjudicate my tweet. My tweet.
I can tell you what's wrong about your tweet without having seen that, and you can tell me if I'm missing something. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. So you're saying that because the defense is rattled by the fact that jury deliberation is in its 15th hour, that they've now demanded a mistrial. So the mistrial request, they had already requested a mistrial with prejudice before jury deliberation even began.
You're absolutely correct. Now, can I add something to that to understand it even further?
Yeah.
The defense asked for a mistrial with prejudice a while ago.
Yep.
For two reasons. One, that they felt Binger's question to Rittenhouse about not having given his account was a violation of his Fifth Amendment right, number one. And number two, they requested the initial mistrial with prejudice over what they said was Binger asking about something that the judge had already said not to ask about. So that's a request for mistrial with prejudice for those two reasons. Yesterday, the defense asked for a mistrial knowing it would be without prejudice because it's now a different thing, because they didn't want the jury to see video, what's described as question 5, which is the drone video, by introducing heretofore unmentioned allegations about they got a different version and sort of implying that Jim Krause deliberately sent a lower resolution version, which can be adjudicated, right? I'm not even arguing as to the truth or falsity of that. These are two different mistrial requests for different reasons, one with prejudice and one without. So it doesn't stick to say they asked for it before. Yes, they asked for a different mistrial for a different reason before.
Do you understand that? So in this hyper ultra nuanced form of events, I can kind of believe you, except, well, now the last part of your tweet is not really accurate either.
But hold on, now you're moving on to something else. Hold on.
I'm still in your original tweet. So, because even if I buy everything you said there, the last part of your tweet was they want a mistrial over an exhibit that is already in evidence. They're not, it's not about them asking for a mistrial over an exhibit that's already in evidence. They're asking for a mistrial over an exhibit that they received a lower quality version of. That's significantly different than what you're implying in this tweet.
So let's see. Let's take it piece by piece. First of all, okay. I disagree with that characterization, but I'm wondering if
mine is just correct, but okay.
I wonder if you've noticed that you're moving on. You've not acknowledged that the first thing you said was just flat wrong. Can you just directly acknowledge that statement you made? Hold on. Let me ask the question.
Okay.
Can you acknowledge that you said they already asked for a mistrial with prejudice? I told you that was a different request for different reasons. Can you say, you know what, David, you're right. That part I was wrong on.
I'm not wrong on that. There have been 2 different requests for a mistrial. My problem isn't whether or not there has been 1 or 2. My problem is that if I take your tweet as a totality, your tweet is basically saying like, wow, they're asking for a mistrial just because the jury's deliberating for 15 hours. And they're doing it over a piece of evidence that has already been submitted.
Let me see if I can ask it a different way. That tweet, do you concede that my tweet is about a particular mistrial, the one that they asked for yesterday, and not the one that they asked for 10 days ago? Can you acknowledge that there are 2 mistrials, and I'm only referring to one?
Yeah, I can acknowledge that, but the problem is that the second part of your tweet then is still not correct. They're not asking for a mistrial over an exhibit that's already in evidence. That's not really what's being asked. It's about the fact that they were given a video that was of lower quality than what was actually submitted into the court.
Fine.
In the pretrial.
Fine. So I will stipulate to that. I concede that my tweet is my opinion. Saying that my opinion is wrong is different than copium with an F-bomb when I've said all along I believe it will be not guilty.
That has nothing to do with guilty or not. Your tweet is just wrong. It's incredibly misleading.
It has everything to do with guilty or not guilty.
No, it doesn't. You're trying to make it sound like they're asking for a mistrial because they're nervous about jury deliberation, and they're doing it for not a good reason. An exhibit that's already in evidence? Why not add an exhibit where they were provided a lower quality version of this before going to trial?
It is not even clear that that's what happened. I'm not taking a position on that because it was a shit show in court when Jim Krause is saying one thing, Miss Wisco is talking about Gmail, Richards is talking about the dates. They don't agree on exactly. I'm not taking a position one way or the other on that. My point is,
you're wrong in what you said. It's incredibly clear what's happened. They received a lower quality version of that file. I don't know if you watched what happened after the break. I know you did, but it is clear what's happened. The defense, this particular defense, got a lower quality version of the video than what the prosecution was using. That part is clear. There's no mystery there.
I am not denying that they ended up seeing a lower quality version. What I am calling into question is, given that they knew that days ago, that they had the idea from the jury instruction debate, particularly Richards was asking questions that made them believe, it's conceivable that the jury is going to go right back there. They're going to go around the room and they're going to say it's not guilty on everything for self-defense, and that's going to be it. That has not happened. Wait, hold on a second. But I can't even get my...
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Okay. You're getting points out, but they have nothing to do with what we're talking about. I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about.
It does have to do with what we're talking about, because the initial... See, we've got it's like a fractal branching. Are you familiar with fractals?
Yeah, but I don't think that this has, in terms of what you're talking about for that piece of evidence, this was a motion that they filed on Friday. This was before jury deliberation even began. I don't know why we're talking now about, when the jury rules if they'll rule guilty or not guilty.
Man, I don't... So it's just... Now we're 5 layers removed where we have to sort of go back. The reason by the way, I'm echoing now. I don't know what's going on over there.
You're not what now?
I'm echoing back. I'm hearing myself. Okay, now it stopped.
Okay.
Now let me see if I can get it. I just don't even know that this is productive because now we have to go back 5 levels.
Hold on.
You're,
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I can't let you do this, okay? Because now I have to move to debate mode, okay?
I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to speak.
You've been speaking, okay? But I can't let you keep trying to obfuscate your factually incorrect tweet by saying, oh, we're 5 levels deep. Oh, we're talking about irrelevant shit, blah, blah, blah. No. Very clearly and very pointedly, your tweet was heavily implying that the only reason or a big reason why the Rittenhouse defense is asking for a mistrial is because they're rattled by the fact that the jury is deliberating in its 15th hour. And they want a mistrial over an exhibit that's already in evidence. One, this particular mistrial without prejudice was submitted before the jury deliberation began. They realized this on Friday, number one. And number two, it's not about an exhibit that's already in evidence. It's about them receiving a lower quality thing. Now, you tried to hand wave that and go, well, we don't know what happened. No, we do know what happened. They talked about it. He said that in the process of them emailing it over, there must have been this thing got converted into a lower quality file and sent, blah, blah, blah. We know what happened, right? That's what happened. So none of this is confusing. Your tweet is just incredibly misleading.
Hey, you know what? You're right.
Okay.
You convinced me. You're right.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to chat about, buddy?
So we both agreed not guilty is probable?
I have no idea. It's a jury trial. Anything can happen. I have no idea. There could be one holdout right now. It could be a 6-on-6 deadlock. They might be disagreeing over some of the lesser charges. Maybe I have no idea. Anything can happen. It's a jury trial.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm really glad we cleared it all up. I didn't realize how wrong I was until you came on today.
It's do you think that the judge is wacky? Do you think he's displayed a clear bias in this case?
I mean, I think that the judge is kind of a doofus.
Why?
And I think that the judge is not like out to get the prosecution. He's not out to get Kyle Rittenhouse off. But I do think that there are instances where he seems, I mean, listen, in terms of the optics, he interrupts and doesn't allow the prosecution to like even finish what they're arguing regularly.
Wait, wait, hold on. Why do you think that is?
I'm guessing you think it is because the prosecution is doing things wrong, right?
Okay, well, my understanding is that if the judge feels like the prosecution is going down a line of questioning that he doesn't want them to go down.
I'm not talking about the lines of questioning. I'm saying even when the jury isn't in the room and they're arguing a motion, he doesn't even allow the prosecution frequently to even finish their perspective on what it is. And I've seen him interrupt the defense once in 2 weeks.
I totally disagree with that. There have been motions where the prosecution has won on it. They've successfully argued their point and the judge has allowed things to stand. Like
You're now arguing a different point than the one I'm talking about.
Okay, the implication of your point is that the prosecution is getting cut off more than the defense, or that the defense is winning more motions than the prosecution?
Those are two different things. I agree with you that there were some motions that the defense's position was just wacky on. Obviously, the judge is not going to give every motion to the defense. So there's no doubt that you're right. There are motions where the judge has sided for the prosecution. They were obvious motions. If you looked at the legal analyses, there's no controversy there. The point I was in the middle of making when you went to a different point was on the optics and the way that the judge is relating to the two sides. He's interrupting and admonishing the prosecution regularly, whereas I saw him do it once with the defense. Now, that's a different point from whether you want to argue any particular motion, which I'm glad to do, if we even care to. I mean, at this point, it seems like water under the bridge.
I don't understand. I guess so the first part is, I don't know why we're talking optics. We're in court. This isn't about optics or what looks best on like a Twitter headline.
You brought up my opinion of whether the judge is wacky or whatever. That's about optics. It's not just about decisions.
So my problem isn't you saying the judge is wacky. My problem is you saying things like the judge is turning the trial into a farce.
I think that if you compare, listen, if you watch the trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, you have an extraordinarily measured judge. He's not putting on a show. He's not telling stories for the camera. He doesn't seem to be relishing being on camera every day, but rather wants to be as minimal as possible. He is being clear when the defense attorney starts talking about Colonel Sanders and whatever. He says, listen, I didn't even ask you to do this. In comparison, you have the judge in the Rittenhouse case who's singing, telling stories, referring to a juror, a black that he had, regularly ranting to the prosecution and defense lawyers, but he's talking about the media. He's really like on TV. He's just doing a TV. It's okay, wacky in that sense.
Yeah. Okay. So firstly, if we want to, for the first point, if we want to talk about him admonishing the prosecution more than the defense, we need to show that this is actually unwarranted, which I don't think you'd ever be able to do. We can go back to any of the times he has, and it seems like every time he has, most people that are watching agree that or most people that are watching with a clear mind agree, the prosecution was out of line here or here. As you've said before, there have been times where the defense has lost on certain motions and the prosecution has won on. So it doesn't seem like it's like an evidence of clear bias or he's interrupting the prosecution more. He just does it when he feels like they're out of line, or especially when he needs to cut the prosecution off before the jury is able to hear something. Number one. Number two, when you say putting on a show or stories for the camera, I mean, like, judges do this sometimes. I don't know if we think that every judge is like Law and Order or I don't know, some crazy like hardcore trial.
So you're agreeing he's doing it. You're agreeing he's doing it, but you're saying it's fine.
Yes. The problem is
that's your opinion.
No. Oh my God, no. Holy shit, you're so dishonest, okay? The problem is you're not just presenting this as he's doing it. You're presenting it as he's doing it, and then you're saying it's way out of line, or that it's wacky, or that he's putting on a story for the camera. There are plenty of judges.
You just agreed he's doing it.
We're not talking about whether he's doing it. We're talking about whether your characterization of him doing it as being wacky or out of line is fair.
But hold on a second. Hold on a second, Stephen.
Wait, hold on. I didn't even finish responding to all the things you said. I wrote them down so that I could get them all out, okay? So there are lots of judges that will tell stories or jokes or whatever in the courtroom. There are judges that will dress you down. If anybody's been to court before, you will get made fun of or forced to postpone your trial date if you show up or an initial hearing. If you're not dressed appropriately, a judge will throw you out of a courtroom sometimes. Like, different judges do things in a ton of different ways. Not every judge is going to be this hard line, like, we're here, here's the process, I'm not going to say anything. Like, this absolutely happens from courthouse to courthouse. To say that a judge is telling stories, therefore it's like wacky or it's turned into a farce or whatever, is a totally unfair characterization. The idea that he's relishing for the camera, you have no proof of that. You don't know how this guy has run trials in the past. You don't know if he's relishing for the camera. That's an unfair characterization as well. To take his whole story about why he has defendants draw things from a whatever that jar was or whatever, and then your only takeaway from that is he called somebody a black. Like, okay, that's also like, Jesus, we're reaching.
But Stephen, here's the problem I'm having with this, Kenny. Man, it's like, how do I even? So, there's projection here. There's, you're accusing me of I'll explain. You're accusing me of dishonestly and narrowly framing things that you're saying. But even in what you just said, I did an entire clip saying the judge's explanation about why he had Rittenhouse draw the numbers is eminently reasonable. I agree with it. I think it's perfectly reasonable. And his bizarre, it was a black thing, made me laugh, and it's really wacky. And you dishonestly just acted as if I said the entire thing was illegitimate. That never happened. It never happened.
You characterize it as him making the trial a farce. I mean, like, what is the impression there?
My impression of the judge is that the guy is farcical. He's a goof. He's wacky. That's my opinion. You can disagree, but where I'm having a problem is you seem unable to just be like, oh, someone has a different opinion and it's essentially meaningless to either of our lives, but I feel the need to go completely bonkers and like attack people and use the term copium. Like, I'm just wondering why you have this tendency. It has nothing really to do with the trial. It's like, I think the guy's wacky. It's just my opinion. What's the big deal?
This defense is unbelievable to me. So
it's not a defense. I'm trying to understand is it content? Is it just content?
No, you're saying none of this is content. Okay. You're basically saying like, LOL, this is all just a big meme. That's like what you're saying, right? But this isn't just a big meme. People look to online commentators to get their opinions about how the trial is going. My worry about, I don't know why you're saying, oh God, is some part of that unbelievable to you? That people watch people online to get their opinions about the ongoing of this trial. Did you disagree with that?
I don't disagree that people watch content to learn about things. I agree with that.
Okay, I don't know what prompted that response then, right?
No, I'm just saying that part I agree with. Please proceed, Governor.
Okay, so the issue is that if it does come out that Rittenhouse walks on every charge, there's going to be a whole lot of left-leaning people in this country who are going to feel like, wow, of course it was. It was a white nationalist, white supremacist supporting judge who was making racist jokes about Asians and blacks, who turned the whole trial into a farce, who was constantly supporting Rittenhouse and unfairly interrupting the prosecution. These are the takes that most people are getting regarding the trial, when the reality is the trial has been pretty standard. The judge hasn't displayed any insane, out of character behavior. There hasn't been any like mess up of the process that's so wrong. But a lot of people are walking away with this opinion because of commentators like you that make statements like this.
So let me ask you then,
yeah,
white supremacist judge, that rant, right? If we just quote that, I never said any of that stuff. So why are you mad at me about stuff I never said?
You haven't said the white supremacist, but you're playing into this overall narrative that the judge is wacky and farcical and is doing things that are unbecoming of a judge or inappropriate in a courtroom. Or
I think that's an incredibly myopic and trivializing interpretation of 100 hours of coverage that I've done.
So you think that, I'm curious then, and I'm super curious, if you were to poll your audience and you were to ask them, do you think that this judge has been fair equally to both sides of this trial? Do you think the majority of your audience would be like, yeah, he's been pretty fair?
I have no idea what my audience would say. My opinion is that on the decisions, the judge has been slightly favorable to the defense. That's not like a crazy extreme position. I think the judge's decisions have been slightly favorable to the defense. I mean, that's considered nuts now?
That's not how it comes across, but like,
we're doing an entertainment show with opinions. It's like you're acting like we have to be, hey guys, I believe 53 to 47 the judge, and I'm not going to editorialize anything. If the judge does something funny, I'm going to laugh at it.
Is this all just a bit then? Is it all just entertainment?
It's not just entertainment, but this is sort of like when, oh God, what is that guy's name? Carl Benjamin. What was that guy? What does that guy go by?
Sargon of Akkad.
Sargon of Akkad. This is like when Sargon of Akkad and I were arguing because he felt my titles were clickbait. And I explained to him, I'm picking titles that are not lies, but that will make people more interested to see what I'm saying. It's like pretending this isn't what we do. It seems very dishonest to me.
I don't view, when I'm covering like news related stuff, I don't view it as just entertainment. But I guess if you do, that explains a difference in, I guess, like what we're looking for in terms of. That's called
a straw man. That's called a straw man because now you're ascribing to me something I never said.
Okay. I might be wacky. Maybe but it sounded to me like just earlier you said that what I'm engaged in is entertainment. Is that, did I misread you? Or you can restate that, I guess, if I misunderstood.
Is the mechanism through which we build an audience that there's a component where people go, I'm entertained by this, so I watch it in addition to being informed? Like, is that crazy? Are we arguing about like what is water at this point?
There is some level of entertainment, of course. But
that's what I'm saying.
I think you have to balance that out with not like mischaracterizing or misleading people.
So the balance is, I'm not saying any of the things you ascribe to me about a white supremacist judge or any of it, but all else being equal, I'm trying to make an entertaining show.
But do you think that entertaining show can come at the cost of giving like a fair and balanced view of what's happening in the courtroom?
I think it absolutely can, and I don't think that that's what's been taking place with my coverage.
You think it can come at that cost?
I think that, of course, it can. We can find examples of anything, yeah.
I'm not talking about just finding examples of anything. So my guess, and I could be wrong, and I'd be interested to do this poll sometime, although now it might be tanning because people hate me in your audience, but like, if you were to have asked before this conversation, do you think the judge is being relatively fair and impartial to both sides for this trial? My guess is that 85% of your audience would say no, that he's disproportionately favoring the defense.
You're saying if I would have done it absent any of my commentary, or what do you mean? Or
no,
like yesterday?
I'm saying before our conversation. I think the vast majority of your audience would say, no, the judge is absolutely being unfair. And I think that is the mainstream opinion right now in a lot of like left-leaning media coverage, and then across Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube with people watching this. So
is it possible that it's the right opinion?
It is, but I haven't seen anything to substantiate that, because it seems like when you're pushed on it, you do admit, yeah, he's been pretty fair for everything. So it seems like that
I
most
didn't
people
admit
would
that.
ask,
See, I think the problem is, like, I don't know.
literally said it. What
You're
do you mean?
misstating every single thing I say. You're either trivializing it and minimizing it, or expanding it, rather than just dealing with what I'm actually saying.
Okay, I thought you said something along the lines of the judge for the most part has been fair. Maybe there've been a couple times where he's favored the defense, but it sounded like
What I've said is, on optics and the way that he runs the courtroom, I think the judge is wacky and doofusy and off color and all those different things. In addition, separate from that, in terms of the decisions he's made, I think his decisions have favored the defense, while he has made decisions that individually are sometimes for the prosecution, sometimes for the defense. It's just you seem to be, because I'm not speaking hyperbolically, you seem to be interpreting it as me saying there's nothing to talk about here. I think the judge has been favorable to the defense, but not 99-1.
Sure. I'm curious then, I guess, since now we're going to take a hyper-nuanced point. Like, in what case do you think he's favored? Do you think he's favored the defense in a fair way or an unfair way?
I think that there are examples of him favoring the defense in an unfair way, and I can give you an example if you would allow it.
Sure. I'm curious. What do you think about that?
I'm predicting you're going to focus in on the prosecution sent the defense a blurry video. I'm going before that. Okay. So think back before that latest thing happened. I believe that the defense has been able to take advantage of the judge's technological incompetence by introducing arguments about pixels, algorithms, logarithms, etc., put the prosecution in a position to basically have to try to explain to a guy that doesn't understand any of this why everything is okay. And the judge is simply, out of incompetence, erring on the side of accepting what the defense says, assuming the prosecution is doing tricky things with exhibits, when it's really just the defense using the judge's technological incompetence to their favor.
Okay, I don't know what your background is in terms of how involved you are with the video stuff that goes on for your broadcast, but the judge had an absolutely perfect understanding of the potential issue that could come up. That ruling was incredibly fair, and he didn't even necessarily rule against the prosecution. He just said that if you want to present an evidence in this manner, you need to have an expert witness on hand to do it.
That's the case only with one piece of video, but there were endless instances. Okay, go on.
No, it wasn't the issue with the video. It's that they wanted to take a video and manipulate it in the courtroom. If they wanted to have a zoomed video, they should have submitted that as evidence in the pretrial, not tried to manipulate the video in the courtroom for the jury to see. That's a different thing.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, listen, you're arguing that a guy who looked dazed and called pixels pickles had a perfect understanding of the technology that's at play. It's like, I feel like we're talking about, what are we talking about?
Hold on. You're obfuscating with so many silly words, with so many wacky words. Whether he called it pixels or pickles or whatever isn't relevant. What the judge said, it's not. What the judge said was shocking to me, because he actually displayed an incredibly sophisticated understanding of the pinch and zoom. Because there are a lot of tech illiterate people, even younger people, even people in both of our audiences that do think, oh, pinch and zoom, that's just like a magnifying glass. It is absolutely not. There's all sorts of software that goes into enhancing images that might be involved in a zoom. But if you want to say that there's not, you just need an expert witness on hand to testify, or you should have submitted that evidence in pretrial rather than attempted to manipulate that video in front of a jury on the spot.
Okay.
Ordinarily, this wouldn't be a big deal, but when you're talking about the difference between walking or life in prison with no parole has to do with how 6 pixels are going to be interpreted on a Zoom, I'm sorry, but that is totally fair to say, well, I don't know.
The conversation about the effect of technology on exhibits is 100% fair. The place where it completely fell apart and the judge's incompetence on the matter became clear was that sometimes they were talking simply about still images sent from iPhone to iPhone, and sometimes they were talking about enhanced videos. And the parameters and the conversations that apply to some of those and not to others, including interpolation, the so-called logarithms, by which they meant algorithms, bicubic, nearest neighbor, etc. The judge didn't know what way was up or down and thought some of the things being applied to some of those exhibits applied to others. He was completely confused. The defense was throwing objections and conversations about this one way or the other. And these were all completely different issues, different technological questions around different exhibits. And the judge had no idea that that was going on. They were confusing email, video, images, iPhone.
Maybe we watched different things, or maybe I missed a totally different version of trial.
That must be
My understanding is that this was over one specific video that the prosecution wanted to pinch and zoom. This didn't have to do with emails and all these other. It was over one specific video that they wanted to pinch and zoom, and the defense objected. And then the judge said, this seems reasonable. If you want to pinch and zoom in a courtroom, you need an expert witness to testify what information is being added. I think that's a totally fair point, especially if whether or not you are guilty or you walk comes down to how 6 or 7 pixels are interpreted on a Zoom like iPhone. I think that's a totally fair point.
You have fallen. So here, okay, let me back up for 1 second. I actually think we may be getting to the end of the usefulness of this, because when I hear you say you were shocked at the judge's incredible understanding of technology, I don't know, Stephen. I'm not even sure that there's a conversation to be had if you were impressed by this judge's technological comprehension. That's scary to me.
Do you think it's incorrect to say that a pinch to zoom could introduce new material into a photo?
It is not incorrect to say that in the absence of actual specific conversations. But the fact that you were impressed by the judge's technological competence is that's concerning to me.
Okay, I guess I don't know. I haven't heard the judge rule on something where it sounded like he was totally out of his element, where he didn't know what he was talking about.
Really?
If you feel like there was an earlier exhibit that was unfair, I mean, it's on the defense or the prosecution to object. If they hadn't, then they didn't. But the judge's ruling.
But now you're flopping back to you're going. It's weird because it's like.
Please don't say I'm flopping. I'm not flopping. You can.
Well,
say
you're flipping. Maybe flopping is not the right word.
Flipping or flopping. Okay. Talking very specific. So you were wrong about the pinch and zoom thing. The judge's ruling there was absolutely fair and showed an absolutely decent understanding of the technology involved. That is absolutely true. So if you thought the judge was floundering there, you are incorrect. Now, if you think there was another point that maybe I'm not aware of where you thought the judge was floundering, or if you think that mispronouncing pixels as pickles, I don't know if the judge did that or if the prosecution did that, but if you think something like that shows that you're technologically incompetent, I'm sure between the two of us, there are a million times we've mispronounced resolution or interpolation or pixel or whatever.
Dude, the guy is screenshotting text messages, creating a 10-foot long narrow ribbon that he can't even read on his phone in order to preserve text messages. And you're saying that you're impressed by the guy's technological know-how. It's outrageous.
Okay, I don't know how to respond to that. So the fact that the judge had the wherewithal to understand that a pinch and zoom could introduce artifacts into a picture, that's something that I wouldn't expect a 76-year-old man to understand. But he seemed to have a decent understanding of that, and he said that if the prosecution wanted to do that in the courtroom, they needed an expert witness. That is a totally fair ruling. If you don't believe me, talk to anybody that deals with photo or video, they'll agree. I don't know what else to say about that. If there was another time you thought he was being unfair or technologically illiterate, I don't know if screenshotting text messages is your bar for that, then you can go for it. But as
it's a pretty freaking low bar. I mean, my bar is higher. It's just, it's sort of like printing out emails and putting them in a file folder.
As it pertains to the trial, I haven't heard him say anything that's completely unreasonable in regards to technology.
Really?
Is there anything else you can think of besides, is there like a specific, because this one ain't it, this isn't it. Was there another point that I missed where he said something that was incredibly technologically foolish?
It's not a question of what he says. It's that the defense is taking advantage of the fact that he can't tell the difference between whether pinch and zoom is relevant related to a video or a picture. The defense, listen, if you just,
you've already lost on this point. Why are you bringing this up? That was a totally fair objection by the defense that the judge sustained. Then the prosecution needs an expert witness to testify. That's totally fair. You have to have a different example than that.
The judge said he didn't actually understand. You're simultaneously saying the judge was very, very competent and perfectly understood it, and said, bring in an expert witness. But in saying that the expert witness needs to come in, he said, I'm not understanding it. You're telling me one thing. You're telling me another thing. I don't know. The guy said, I don't know. He said, I don't
No.
understand it.
Hold on. What he meant and what he was saying was in response to the prosecution.
So now you know what he meant when he said, I didn't understand it. He meant, I do understand it.
No, because what the prosecution was saying was, this is simple. Everybody has pinch and zoom on their phone. Everybody does this. That was the prosecution's argument. They were arguing in favor of it. And the judge said that he didn't have the technical know-how to know one way or another if that was true. So they need to bring in an expert witness to testify. I think that shows a perfectly competent understanding of the complexities involved in these types of image processing environments.
You first said the guy showed an incredible understanding of the technology. Now you're saying the judge showed a great understanding of his limitation for understanding the technology. These are two different things. You're now going he was smart enough to realize he doesn't know.
Do you really think that these are two different points, David? Wait.
Yes.
Well, hold on. Wait. Okay. Hold on. I'm curious. I'm just super curious. Do you think that earlier I was saying that the judge has an incredibly good and deep technical understanding of the intricacies?
Yes, you said you were impressed with it. You said you were impressed with his understanding.
All right. Okay, I understand. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Do you understand?
I don't think you're either not approaching the conversation in good faith or you're trying really, really hard to just win a debate and you're not listening to what I'm saying. But I mean, it could be either one. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to win I didn't even want to have a debate. I wasn't the one tweeting about copium. Did you contact me or hold on, Stephen, did you contact me asking to talk today or did I contact you?
People told me in my stream.
No, but hold on, Stephen, hold on. People told me the same thing. Did you contact me or did I contact you?
I messaged you.
Okay.
After you responded to my tweet. Yeah. After I tweeted at you. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're saying the conversation you started is one where you don't like that I'm trying to win a debate? What?
No, when I say it's not that I don't mind an argument.
Okay.
It's that it doesn't seem like you're having a good faith characterization of what I'm saying.
I would say the same to you.
I think I've understood what you've said pretty well. I'm restating your points back to you. I'm writing them down as you talk to me, but you keep jumping from one thing to the other or bringing up things that we previously rehashed in order to win the point. But I don't care about.
I don't think there's any winners here. I think there's all losers. I can assure you. I have no interest in winning any point or winning any bigger thing here. I really don't care. My concern is the combination of the ease with which you seem to be triggered by some of this stuff, combined with what I see as a desire to just denounce the left and fight with everybody, to me seems like you're not really in a great place and I'm worried about you. That's ultimately what it is.
So, I mean, we can keep running the memes down all you want, but my problem is
what
that the
memes?
vast majority of everything you're saying right now is a meme.
It's not a meme, actually. It's not a meme.
Triggered by misinformation. I do get triggered when people are dishonestly presenting narratives and then you claim it's just for entertainment or it's just your opinion. And I
never said that.
People are you did earlier. People can go.
I never said it's. Hold on a second. But there's two. But see, you're misstating it right there.
Said it. You just said that.
So you said it was only for entertainment and it's only your opinion.
You said earlier. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me say what I said. That's right. Let me say what I said. I said sometimes you seem to get a little more mad than it seems sensible over something that at the end of the day is someone's opinion.
Wait, you're not even addressing
the second piece of it is I never said it's only entertainment.
You're just saying you're mad over and over again. This is reinforcing your point. Are you mad? Are you mad? That's what you're doing.
Am I mad, you're saying?
No. You're asking me in more words. You're saying you seem mad. Are you mad? That's your response to half the things I'm saying to you.
Yeah, because it's not it's I know a lot of people and I relate to a lot of people. And the degree to which you're just furious all the time is not normal to me.
This isn't a response to anything I've said. I am furious on the internet a lot. It's what I've done for the past 10 years. But I think that I make a lot of salient critiques to how the majority of people online seem to be covering this trial. And a lot of your coverage has fallen in line with that. That there have been unfair rulings from the judge towards the prosecution and the defense, that the trial is a farce, that he's favoring one side, that he's incompetent technologically, and that's why he's ruling on some things. And I think all of these things are just demonstrably untrue. But I mean,
I guess we just disagree. It's just I don't know. The problem is I'm sort of I feel totally fine being hey, you know what? Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II has a different opinion than me. He came to different conclusions than me on some things. He isn't a bad person as a result. I'm not assuming bad faith. It's like, it's just not a big deal. I'm not furious with him. I'm not tweeting copium F-bomb. Whereas you see that I could only have come to these conclusions either by lying to my audience or doing it for entertain. You know, like it's weird. That's the problem I'm having, where you seem.
This doesn't make sense. If it was the case that one of us was lying and the other wasn't, then it's not really an argument to say, well, one of us is cool with both sides and the other is upset if the one person that's cool with both sides is the one lying. Now, I'm not saying that is the case here, that we know that to be, obviously, because we disagree on that. But like, yeah, of course, I'm going to be a little bit more upset and you're going to not care as much if I think that you're the one that's being dishonest, which I think your tweet obviously clearly was. So, I mean, like,
I could just as easily, listen, Stephen.
Yeah.
The internet, my audience and your audience, are filled with people who on the same basis of fact think I'm being honest and you're being dishonest. So it's.
And I would welcome any of that discussion. If anybody wants to talk with me,
go talk to Kenny. That's what I'm saying. It's just,
anybody wants to, feel free to, because I haven't found a single person that wants to talk about the facts of the case. And it seems to be like pretty ubiquitous that the people that are the most mad just haven't been watching what's been going on, or they've just been dissecting headlines.
But hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah. You just said, can I want to get through this point without you interrupting me?
Go for it.
You just said it seems to you that the people who are most mad haven't really been watching the case. You just conceded you're way more mad than me. By the standard you just laid out, we would have to assume you're not really watching the case, right?
I said that it seems to be. That was the whole point behind my tweet, where I was surprised because I know that you've been watching the whole case. So I didn't understand how you were saying things that were just factually untrue.
It's just weird because, like, imagine that this was about the World Cup, right?
Okay.
If I watched one World Cup game and you watched every game and you had a different opinion than me, my initial instinct would be, hey, you know what? Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II saw every game and I didn't. I shouldn't immediately assume he's lying, a bad person, arguing in bad faith, or deceiving people. My initial instinct would be, he's watched much more of it. Let's see how he came to that conclusion. Your reaction to having watched parts and I've watched the whole thing is to assume I'm lying and arguing in bad faith. It's strange to me. That's unusual.
Because I've been watching parts of your coverage, and every single time you just seem to be constantly and relentlessly shitting on the judge and not understanding like what like anything that he brings up is like this is just him being biased, or oh, the defense was saving this because of the jury deliberations. Like
that's just when I said that, you know, I don't know if you watched when I said that on my stream. I literally said, guys, I'm just throwing this out there as like a, what do you think of this sort of thing? That's all it was. It's like, this isn't like, you know, I'm bored by even having to keep talking about it. It was just like, hey, does anybody think this might be a thing? And a bunch of people in my audience go no, and some say yes, and that's it. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not a big deal.
I guess it's all just memes in the end, huh?
See, that's the thing. You then trivialize it by saying it's all memes. When I say to you, listen,
you constantly trivial. It's just my opinion. It's just entertainment. Like I was just throwing it out there. Like it's just my opinion. Like you're the one that's trivialized the fuck out of your side completely over and over again. Like,
but I'm watching a trial and it's literally my opinion. I'm watching a trial and it's my opinion. I'm giving my opinion.
Yeah, but the disagreement isn't over opinions can have. You're trying to make it sound like anybody can have any opinion about anything. Right?
No, I am not. No. I'm against that type of sort of postmodernist thinking. That's not what I'm saying at all.
You're doing. Like,
no,
I walk into my apartment and I'm like, you know what? I think that somebody replaced my computer with an identical computer that's exactly like it, has all the same information. And someone's like, why do you think that? And I'm like, bro, why are you attacking me? That's just my opinion.
Childish.
What?
That's silly.
What are you talking about? How many times you said over and over again, this is my opinion, or this is just.
No, but you're angry when someone just comes to have a different opinion. It's a weird level of anger.
I'm angry about factually misstating things, like why the defense might be asking for a mistrial, or implying that it's because they're nervous about jury deliberation, or implying that it's just because
Stephen.
Yeah.
Have you talked to the defense?
No.
Okay, so you're saying that something is factually wrong when it's just an idea. You have the idea that the defense wouldn't hold bringing the mistrial request in open court, And I said, what if they
filed? They'd already filed it.
But they didn't push the judge for the decision.
I don't think the judge had read the motion yet. I think they were gonna. They had the mind to file it on Friday.
They might or might not know that.
Okay.
But it's just weird when you're like, hey, your speculation is that's not something the defense would do. And I go, I wonder if the defense would do it. And somehow I'm the one who's bad because of that.
Because, like, was the defense supposed to go on Sunday to the judge's house and say, hey, consider our motion right now? Like,
well, yesterday was Wednesday, right? So they gave it to him on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, I don't even know what we're arguing about.
Well, it's funny because the judge in court literally made a statement about people like you. I think it was about this motion where he said, people in the media are really upset that I didn't rule on this motion on Monday. And, I literally just got this and I haven't even given the prosecution a chance to respond yet.
I thought that was on the, I might be mistaken. I thought that was on the first mistrial request.
I think there was a second one that they submitted on Friday that had to do with, I think it was a mistrial without prejudice. I might be mixing these two up, but I don't think the prosecution had responded to this yet. I'm just saying, like, your narrative is so conspiratorial.
I really don't have a conspiratorial tendency. I'm very much not a conspiratorial. Like I'm. That's not my instinct. My audience, I think, knows that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever think there were points where Rittenhouse was just firing indiscriminately into the crowd when he was shooting?
No. Upon seeing the videos more closely, I would say no.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to chat about? Or
I mean, listen, I think that the self-defense case on Huber is pretty obvious, legally speaking. I think that if there's a question, it's going to be about Rosenbaum. That's my prediction in terms of the jury. And I think that I would be shocked if there's anything other than just not guilty on Huber. But I think that they'll focus their debate on Rosenbaum, their deliberation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have is my opinion wrong on that?
No, you can have an opinion on literally anything.
Oh,
My opinion is that the sky is blue because I think somebody put a lot of food dye there a long time ago. But I think we can have opinions on whatever we want to have opinions on. I think that's fine.
Okay, all right.
All right. Well, hey, listen, I love you, David.
Are we fighting now? Or like, am I like Hassan Piker now where we don't talk?
Hey, I fight with everybody. I love it. I think it's fun. I don't hate you. I think.
Hey, in all seriousness, I hope that this isn't inappropriate, but you've never mentioned being mildly autistic. You're not mildly autistic, right?
I'm half Hispanic, okay?
I'm 100% Hispanic, but that's not the question.
I don't know if your Argentinian family is the same, but when my Cuban family argues with each other, they are fucking screaming at the top of their lungs. That's what normal conversation sounded like
fair.
when I would go to Miami
fair.
and hang out with my family.
That's fair.
How
no,
I'm used to my family. Yeah. So when I talk with my white friends or whatever, or not that we're white, of course, because we're Hispanic.
We're Hispanic. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. This is like a normal conversation. I'm fine. I'm chill. Okay.
But you're not autistic.
I have no idea. I play video games. I might have developed autism. I played a lot of League of Legends, David.
Huh.
Possible.
I'm not joking around about this. It sounds like you're saying maybe you are slightly autistic.
Maybe that's just your opinion, though.
No, I don't have an opinion. I'm not. I have no opinion. I'm asking you.
I don't know, David. I'm not sure.
See, I can't tell if you're memeing now.
Seems to be a big problem in this conversation, huh?
Huh. All right. Well, listen. I mean,
not being able to read social cues is a big sign of autism.
I know. That's why I think
projecting your autism onto me. Do you think?
I think the reason some in my audience brought this up, I'm being very serious here, is that they thought that the rapid escalation and attacks were a lack of reading social cues. I think that's why someone brought it up to me.
Oh, gotcha. Are there a lot of social cues on the 180 character tweets that people are sending out? You know what, David? You know what would have fixed all of this?
Tell me.
You need more zoomers in your audience. You got to tag your tweets with the slashes at the end to get the tone tags.
Tweets? What are tweets?
Tweets?
Oh, sorry. I misheard that.
Tweet. You have to do the tone tags at the end.
All right. Well, I don't even know what that is. That's crazy.
Okay.
But
look them up, and it helps people like me understand your tone better.
Hey, so did you move to Miami?
Not yet, but by the end of the month, I probably will have.
By the end of this month?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, if you're in LA and you'll have me, I would love to get lunch in a few weeks, but it sounds like you may be gone.
Oh, just let me know when you're here and I'll have you, okay?
You're still going to be living there, aren't
maybe
you?
we can grab Hassan and he'll come hang out with us too, okay?
I plan to go to the Hassan house, actually.
Oh shit! Make sure you have your proper identification so you don't get shot by security. But otherwise, yeah, that should definitely be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, but in all seriousness, you'll be in LA in a few weeks still, right?
I probably will be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's feeling like the end of the month for Miami might not happen.
Maybe we'll see.
All right, good, Steven. We'll keep in touch and let's just relax. Let's relax. Let's live together. Let's be in peace. You know.
Okay, I'm super peaceful, super relaxed. All right.
All right,
all of
thank
this
you.
so far, David. This was just all my opinion. All right. I do this for entertainment, so it is what it is. You know.
That's what I assumed, actually.
Okay. Well, hey, I love you. Stay safe, David Deepak Pacman. Okay.
All right, there it is. And say hi to Melina for me, please.
I'll definitely say hi to her. Okay. Have fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you. There's Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II. And wow. What do we think, guys? Anybody? I mean, I don't even know what to think. Did I lose? How many people were watching on his stream, by the way? Somehow we were up to 14, 15,000 viewers during that. Destiny must have a crazy audience going right now. Let's see. 1,400. Wait a second. 1,400. What about on Twitch? $3,000 on Twitch. What the hell? What's happening? What? He muted me? What does that mean? His audience couldn't hear me? What does that even mean? Why would he mute it over there? Why would he mute it? Isn't it content? I don't even get that. Yeah, I don't think we learned anything. I don't think we learned a thing from that because I'm banned on Twitch. That's crazy. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Did that accomplish anything? Like anything at all? I guess not. I don't know. All right, everybody. We will pick it back up tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. That does it for today. Deliberations continue tomorrow. See everybody very, very soon.